The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Aaron Glenn spoke about the positives from the Week 12 loss in Baltimore. We'll talk about that and much more from this game. Will Parkinson will join us. It's the Jake Asman Show, live on a Monday. Let's hit it and get it started.
We look forward to getting ready to compete against the Ravens and go try to win us a game. So any questions? Why are you laughing?
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, live on a Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Beningo was supposed to be with us this morning. We had to reschedule the Joe B appearance to this afternoon. Joe had something that popped up, and I'm still dealing with my hacking situation. Little PSA at the start of the show. If you got a direct message from me on Twitter, don't click the link. Don't answer it. I am still hacked, locked out of my account. Been locked out since Thursday. So if you click any link for me, it's not me. So I'm trying to warn people. I've been using @JakeAsman Show, my show account, to relay the fact that I've been hacked. So please, PSA, I don't know what to tell you. I have no idea when I'll be getting my Twitter account back, but I figured I'd lead the show with that because I'm getting messages from people saying, hey, I got a DM from you. It's not me. So I apologize. I wish there was a better answer or something I could do about it, but I got nothing for you. All right, as far as the Jets, let's talk more about what we learned from yesterday's game. And look, I think if you really want to be objective here, we could say there certainly were a lot of positives, but ultimately, I think there are some out there in the Jet space that are being way too positive about a game where the Jets once again beat themselves. Now, no one expected them to win, but that game was so winnable. Part of the reason why the spread was 13.5 was because the assumption was, well, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens were just going to roll in, show up, and they were going to win easy. And if you watch the game, clearly Lamar Jackson was at what? 65, 70% of what he normally is. Like I'm telling you, the big story from a Ravens angle coming out of that game is, wow, Lamar Jackson is nowhere near as healthy as what the Ravens were intimating he was. That's the story from the Ravens side. So the Jets yesterday, they did play hard. I thought in the first half, the defense played well. But ultimately, too many mistakes were made across the board, especially in that second half. And I think the biggest issue the Jets have is that if they don't play nearly perfect, they're not good enough to overcome really any mistake. And the more I think about it, the more I have such a problem with the decision that the head coach made early on in the second half to go for it from his own 42-yard line, gifting the Ravens a short field, and I think more importantly, in a game that was very sluggish, a game that was a total slog, it provided instant energy for the Ravens, and the crowd got right back into it. I think the decision, if you're going to be aggressive, you need to be consistently being aggressive. And what I mean by that is earlier in the game, Aaron Glenn opted to not go for it on a fourth down when the Jets were around at midfield. At the time he went for it on the 4th and 2 in his own territory in the third quarter, it was only a 10-7 game. The Jets were in prime position to hang around. They have a great punter, McNamara. You could have played the field position game there. So that to me was really the defining moment. Obviously, the Isaiah Oliver penalty was a huge issue. Obviously, if you look at some of the other moments in this game, you got to start and mention the Brees fumble at the goal line, which cost the Jets a touchdown. But really, the momentum of that game changed with that coaching decision. And I just want to see more consistency from Glenn. If you're going to be aggressive, then be aggressive. But it just feels like we make it up as we go whether or not we're going to go for it or not go for it. And I think while analytics might say, hey, that's the right move in favor of going for it there, it's not like this was like a clear, you got to go for it no matter what. I think you need to take into account the situation in the game field. Like, that was a game that was ugly. That was how the Jets needed to play to have a chance. They should have punted and played the field position game there. So the more I think about it, the more I really didn't like that decision from the head coach. But I'll give the head coach credit. They're playing hard for him. They showed up. They're not quitting. It was the right move to go to Tyrod, even though they only finished with 10 points. You could just see, if you watch the game, the Jets played better than what the 10 points will show you. Now, does that matter if you don't win? Obviously not, but we're in evaluation mode at this stage of the season, and we got a better idea on some of the players we're evaluating because Tyrod started and finished the game yesterday. I mean, was Tyrod Taylor sensational? No, but for a Jet quarterback to have 204 passing yards, that's a big deal when you've watched Justin Fields have 4 games this year where he's had under 60, 5 games this year under 120. Justin Fields' last 5 starts, he has 500 total passing yards. Right? It was nice to see Breece Hall be a factor in the passing game. And it wasn't like these were design plays to Breece Hall. These were plays where you're checking it down to Breece, and he's just so special, he'll make plays. That needs to be a focal part of the offense, but especially without Garrett Wilson out there. To me, it's been so obvious that Breece Hall has been underused this year for what his skill set can be in this offense. And I'm hoping, based on the way Aaron Glenn gushed about Breece after the game, said that, he's my guy, didn't want him to get too down on himself. I'm hoping that these are all signs that the Jets are going to retain Breece Hall, because I believe Breece Hall needs to be on the team next year. And whether that's under a 2 or 3 year extension, or they can't work it out and they use the tag, I think the fact that the Jets did not trade him, the fact that Breece Hall is still on this team, that tells me that he is going to be brought back. At least that's what I'm operating under. That premise. So I think we learned in this loss, Breece Hall is a part of the Jets' future. He had 119 total yards, and look, the fumble was brutal, but that to me was like an effort type of play, right? That wasn't like a lack of focus. You want to tip your cap and give the Ravens credit for making a play there, that's fine. But that also brings me to my next point. This defense, while they played hard yesterday, ultimately, we cannot run back this defensive coaching staff for another year. It starts with a defensive coordinator. To not have a single interception on the season is unbelievable. By accident, you come up with turnovers. 1 fumble recovery, and that's it through 11 games. The inability to create takeaways is, quite frankly, unacceptable. It's unacceptable. The other thing that continues to be frustrating is, while Aaron Glenn has done a decent job overall, taking a team that led the league in penalties the last 2 years, and they were number 1 last year in defensive penalties, and they don't commit nearly as many penalties as they once did, they still commit penalties at the absolute worst times. And that's coaching, and that needs to be cleaned up. I mean, 2 of the penalties yesterday kept drives alive on 3rd down that ended in touchdowns for the Ravens. See, the Jets are actually pretty good on 1st and 2nd down defensively. It's when they get into 3rd down, when their lack of a pass rush gets exposed, the issues they have in the secondary gets exposed, and the communication errors gets exposed, that has doomed them this year defensively. They had 3 defensive penalties on 3rd down, and 2 of them, again, helped the Ravens end up scoring 2 of their touchdowns yesterday. And everyone knows the lack of a turnover, because it is just mind-boggling. It really is. It makes no sense.
Do they ever force a damn turnover?
It's just, I mean, it's hard to believe. Seriously. It really is just hard to believe. But look, ultimately, you weren't expected to win. You hung around. There's some positives in that. For the tankers out there, you got what you wanted. A competitive loss. So there's that to point to. But I just think ultimately, when you look at where the Jets are right now, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they play in the games coming up. We've learned this year overall that the Jets are not a good team. That's obvious. I think we've also learned that the Jets are not the worst team in the league. Now, the first 7 games of the year, they were playing like it. There has been improvement since then. Now, the bar is low. Some people out there want to laud this coach because, they're no longer the worst team in the league. They're just your typical bad team. To me, the bar is just, in the Earth's core, that's your, expectation level. Obviously, the Jets with their talent alone should not be finishing with the worst record in football, and they won't. So we've learned that the Jets are not a good team. And we've also learned that they're not the worst team in the league. But now you look at the schedule coming up, and I bring this up because you're about to play a bunch of teams in a row in your weight class. 3 of the next 4 games, the Jets are playing teams with a losing record. 2 of them, they're at home. How do they look in those games? Yeah, they've been able to beat the Browns and the Bengals this year, 2 bad teams. Next week, they play Atlanta. Then they play Miami. 2 home games in a row. Atlanta's starting Kirk Cousins. It's going to be in the cold. Miami starting Tua. It's going to be in the cold. 2 home games. After that, Jacksonville, they've been up and down, but you're not expected to win that game. But the game after that, at the Saints, and that game could be just massive for the Tankathon standings. How do the Jets look when they start playing teams now that are considered to be in the same weight class as them? Do they regress back to what we've seen, or are they able to build on some of the positives that, if you want to highlight them, sure, you certainly can. That's what I want to know. And speaking of positives, again, give Darren Muji a lot of credit because it looks like getting John Mechie and A.D. Mitchell thrown into these trades has paid off dividends. I think Mechie looks like a real player for them. He reminds me a lot of Jeremy Curley, for Jet fans that remember number 11 on the New York Jets for many years. Really solid, productive slot receiver. That's 2 straight games with a touchdown. He's getting open. I think Mechie has a real role on this team, and it's all cost control, right? He's going to be a restricted free agent. You could easily tender him and bring him back. A.D. Mitchell, I thought he made some nice plays yesterday. Only 2 catches, but they were big, explosive plays. You watch, you see him getting open. Other than Garrett Wilson, the Jets didn't have anyone that could separate. Now, while I will give Muji credit for both those deals, what it does accentuate, though, is that they went into the year with such a poor plan for this offense. And what I mean by that is this. The fact that Mitchell and Mechie were acquired 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and they are already leading the Jets in snaps at receiver just shows you how poor that room was put together in the offseason. And this is not a second guess. We knew this in real time. We all complained about the lack of a receiver room, and we were gaslit by the head coach. Well, we're going to run the ball. Oh, and Tanner's scheme by running is going to set things up throwing, and they never had a real plan for Justin Fields. So that concerns me big picture when we get to the offseason, and these guys are entrusted with taking the right quarterback and building a plan for that quarterback. But while you could criticize them for the wide receiver room, at least Muji was proactive enough to, in season, make some meaningful additions to that room. And I think you feel pretty good about Garrett, Mitchell, Mechie as 3 receivers you can count on going into next year. And you could use the draft to get someone else. You could use the trade market, free agency. There's ways to get a legit number 2 receiver if we want to label Mechie as their slot. And let's say Mitchell's a number 3. And look, there's still 6 games to go. So maybe we feel even better about the receiving room we do have by the time we get to the offseason. So I think there's some real positives from that one. The other positive is, again, the one thing with Darren Muji that I think Jet fans should be encouraged about, he seems to have a real grasp of the trade market. He seems to have a real ability to find guys for, late picks and turn them into contributing players. Harrison Phillips has been really good for them. And he's under contract next year for only a $7.5 million cap hit. You're definitely keeping him. We talked about Briggs a lot yesterday on the show. This guy looks like just a good football player. He looks like a legit starting defensive tackle. So to have him and Phillips brought in late in training camp for 6th-round picks. That's really good GMing by Muji. Jarvis Brownlee, consistency-wise, it's up and down, right? He was awful against New England. I thought he played well yesterday, and I like the energy he brings. I like the energy that he brings. I like the energy that Stevens brings. I like their tackling ability. And once again, Brownlee, because he was a day 3 pick by Tennessee, he's making next to nothing next year. And you have him under contract for 2 more seasons. So the day 3 picks that they used to get some of these players, they all look good yesterday. Briggs, Phillips, Brownlee. And we mentioned the receivers who were throw-ins on these trades. They played pretty well so far. I've been encouraged. So, look, again, it all comes down to the fact they need to get the quarterback situation figured out. They have all the picks in the world, but if they don't get the quarterback figured out, none of this seemingly will matter. But ultimately, I think if you're in a spot where if you want the Jets to get the highest pick possible, I think yesterday was a pretty good day for you. You didn't get embarrassed. You saw some of the younger players on this team play decent. The O-line, I thought, again, in pass protection was very good. I think there's pieces here. Major questions about the head coach. Let's hope he improves. And let's hope they get the quarterback right, because I don't think the Jets are that far away if they hit on quarterback, which is the biggest if of anything. But, that's kind of where we're at. You look at the Tankathon standings. When I signed off yesterday, the Jets were still picking number 3, but after the results of all the games yesterday with the Saints losing, the Jets slid down to 4. What's notable about this is a couple things. One, the first pick in the draft, Tennessee, they feel like, to me, the worst team in football. We'll see if they finish there, but they don't need a quarterback. So the Jets can make a deal with them. The second pick in the draft, the Giants, they don't need a quarterback. So the Jets, in theory, can make a deal with them. Now, the Giants should have won yesterday. I mean, they fired their defensive coordinator, finally, Shane Bowen. I mean, how many games in the fourth quarter are the Giants going to blow this year? Pick 3 is the Saints. They do need a quarterback. Tyler Shuck, I don't think, is their answer. Jets play the Saints in a couple of weeks. That game will have major tanking ramifications. And then right behind the Jets are the Raiders. I am shocked how bad they are, but they are every bit as bad as any team in the league. I think the Jets are better than the Raiders. So if you are paying close attention now to the Tankathon standings, it will be fascinating to see who ends up where. Because you look at the Raiders' schedule, and they play a game late in the year against the Giants, that might be their only winnable game left. Raiders schedule down the stretch: at Chargers, home Denver, at Philly, at Texans, home Giants, home Chiefs. I only see maybe one more win left for the Raiders. You look at the Tennessee Titans. I think personally they are the worst team in the league. But the thing with Tennessee that you have to understand is that they do play some games against other really bad teams. This week, they'll play the Jaguars. But after that, Tennessee has a game at Cleveland. Tennessee has a game, second to last week of the year, home against the Saints. I mentioned the Saints. Every Jet fan knows that the Jets have the New Orleans Saints still to go on their schedule. The Saints have a game against the Dolphins this week. They have a game against the Titans, the second to last game of the season. Obviously, the Jets is the week prior to that. And then they play at Atlanta. So maybe there's 2 more wins available for the Saints. I think the Jets are probably winning at least 2 more games. So they could be picking anywhere from, let's say, like 4 to 7. And I fully believe the Jets are going to do everything in their power to move up and take a quarterback if that's what it takes. It'd be a lot easier if you don't have to give up any picks. But that might not be a reality for the Jets. So there's your little update on the Tankathon standings. Comments, questions, super chats will cut the line. We are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Here's your opening look at the line for the Jets and the Falcons Sunday at MetLife. Jets are a 2.5-point underdog. This, to me, feels about right. I could easily see the Jets winning this game, though. It's Kirk Cousins in the cold. He doesn't move great. Atlanta has been a very Jekyll and Hyde type of team. if the Jets go out there and they play the Falcons 10 times, I think they might win 5 of them. So this feels like a very much a 50-50 type of game. But we'll see. For those who are rooting for wins and want to see improvement, you fought against the Ravens. You are up 7-3 at halftime. Now you play a team Sunday that's in your weight class. What does it look like? Right? What does it look like? That's what you want to know. But it's going to be a fascinating final 6 weeks here because on one hand, you don't want to see the Jets lose. On the other, losing does guarantee them a higher pick, and it means less you have to trade to move up and get your quarterback, which in a perfect world would be helpful for the New York Jets. Some super chats here. Will Parkinson will be joining us in a couple of minutes. Let me start with this from Welcome to Something. He became a channel member. He's in the raffle for one by doing so. The raffle for our weekly prizes is tomorrow. So this is your last day to enter to win a signed Nick Mangold football, a signed Armand Membu jersey, and a signed Wayne Corbett football. End of the show today. Let's give away a Jets Legends jersey. Joe Namath, prize number 1. Klecko, prize 2. Martin, prize 3. Corbett, prize 4. Revis, prize 5. Mangold, prize 6. Keyshawn, prize 7. You pick the player you want the jersey in, should you win. Super chat from Dan starts us off. Sorry your ex was hacked. Glad the Colts lost, improving our first-round pick. They could miss the playoffs still as they play Jacksonville and Houston 2 times each. I am not sold on the Colts as the Super Bowl team. I do think they'll make the playoffs, but you are right. Their schedule down the stretch, very much difficult, as Dan's Super Chat outlines. Now, the Colts pick right now, according to Tankathon, would be pick 28. So if the draft was held today, the Jets would own pick 4 and pick 28 in the first round of 2026. Chris with a Super Chat. He cuts the line. My expectations for Tyrod are low, but the Ravens D is way more solid than it was in the beginning of the year. Don't understand people wanting to go back to Fields. Tyrod for 2 more games than Cook. Look, the Fields truthers can say whatever they want. If you watch that game, Tyrod Taylor played better quarterback than Justin Fields would have. He did. I understand the Jets finished with 10 points. Watch the game, people. Watch the game. Glenn going for it on 4th and 2 completely changed the whole tenor of that game. The Jets were in that game until the Ravens went down and scored. The Brees fumble completely changed that game. That should have been another 7 points right there. Where I will criticize Tyrod is the end of the first half. He cannot take that sack. He can't do it. That sack was catastrophic. Took away 3 points potentially and gave the Ravens some momentum going into halftime. But Tyrod played better than Fields has played in weeks. Let's be honest. Doug says the AZ Thomas flag was a joke. A complete joke. That flag was a joke. And the play where they called 2 penalties, Brees getting thrown out of bounds, hit late, and then they picked that one up and only called the hold on Simpson, was an absolute joke as well. Jay, he sent in $2 with no comment or question attached. So, Jay, thank you. Go to the Asman Lunch Fund today because, God, it's been a stressful morning already. All right, to your calls we go. Yeti's first today, and we're going to be joined by Will shortly. What's up, Yeti?
Hey, man. Cool. Thanks for putting me in before Will came on. Hopefully I can get through this. I'm not feeling too good. Is my reception okay?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Yeti. Yep.
Okay. So bear with me. I'll be really quick with this. So I made a beef stew yesterday. Okay. It was awesome. A beef stew, straight up. And I was thinking about the ingredients for a beef stew. I started off with the potatoes. That's the old line. We have a great set of potatoes right now, and we keep those potatoes. Going on to carrots, we got Brees, and we got a good running back group right now. If Braylon comes back, I don't know where we change or where we try to bring in another running back, but somebody will probably throw in something and come up with there. Moving down quick, I know maybe he's coming in. Going down to celery. That's my next ingredient for a good beef stew. And I got Garrett and all the other, and the 2 guys, AD and Mechie, we got in. That's a good group to start with next year. So I don't know why you would make too many changes to the YR group. And now our P's. That's Folk and McNamara. That's our punting group and our special teams group. They're there. They're here. They're doing great. They're already there. And now onions and garlic, that's coaching. And that's what we got to maybe try to fix. And now there's one ingredient that I left out. And now I'm just talking offense here. Did you notice what I left out of my beef stew?
The quarterback?
Yep, that's the beef. We don't have the beef. So we need the beef for a beef stew. Yeah, I just gave you tons of ingredients there. They're all there.
All right, enough food talk here. You want some beef? I'll give you beef. Beast, your thoughts on that recipe there? Tremendous.
You tell me how crazy I am. I just took 4 chair headshots.
It's going to be one of those shows, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, good call by Yeti to start things off. We will get back to your calls in a bit, but our guest has arrived to break down what we saw yesterday and what it all means. Let's say hello to Badlands Finest, the host of the Turn on the Jets podcast, Will Parkinson, joining us on a Monday morning. Will Pa, how we feeling after a competitive loss that preserves the tank? And also, I think if you're a Jet fan who thought they were going to get killed, maybe you were pleasantly surprised with what you saw yesterday.
Yeah, I think you kind of leave a couple different things. I think you leave yesterday saying we have some young guys that are developing, and that's probably the most important and exciting thing. I would say you leave slightly frustrated because if Brees doesn't fumble there, a few calls don't go that way and things of that nature. Like, I don't know, do they get that game to overtime? Do they get a chance with 3 minutes left in the ball and see if they can put together a drive? And then you also look at it and say, like, I don't know, they just feel like they're a better team than the last 4 weeks than they were the first 7-8 weeks, whatever it is. Like, it does feel like there's tangible improvement. So, look, they still lost 23-10, Jake, and it is what it is. That's obviously frustrating. But if you want them to have a better draft pick, like, and in some ways, yeah, that's obviously that was ideal yesterday, right? The win doesn't help them. The Browns win and different things of that nature. And again, some of the young guys and some of the more shrewd moves by Muji have looked pretty good, thus far. But again, a loss is a loss, and unfortunately, this team's 2-9.
I think there was definitely some positives yesterday with Mechie and Mitchell playing the way they did. Briggs looking like a real player for this defense going forward on the defensive tackle spot. Like, you could find some positives. I think what kills me, though, Will, is the decision by Glenn in this game in the fourth quarter there. Going for it on 4th and 2. I just don't like how earlier in the game he chose to punt on a 4th down in a similar situation where they actually were further along in the field position battle. I just feel like he makes it up as we go as far as consistency on whether he wants to be aggressive or conservative. And in that spot, while the analytics might give you the slight lean to go for it, you're not taking into account the circumstances of the game. It's 10-7. You're playing the exact style of game you got to play against the Ravens to have a chance as a 2-touchdown underdog. Why not punt with your all-world punter, play the field position game? Because if you don't get it, like what happened, you gave the Ravens instant momentum and they fed off that. The crowd got back into it. Then they drove down the field and scored. I thought that was the absolute defining moment of the game yesterday. And I just wish Glenn was more consistent. If he's known to be aggressive, then be aggressive. But he wavers even in game, as we saw yesterday, on when to go and when to punt.
Yeah, I think that they would have gone if they get more than like 1 yard on that 4th and 7. It feels like that 3rd down play call was very much hopefully we get 4 to 5 here and can set up a 4th and 2. I'm pretty sure they go for it there. I'm not saying I disagree. I don't think I'm mad at the decision, Jake. I actually thought Engstrand just had a really rough 3rd and 4th down play call there. I think Engstrand's shown a lot of really good stuff this year. His opening scripts, I think he's made adjustments. I think he's, done some creative things. I think he's, done a lot of good stuff. I think where he's struggled is short yardage has not been his friend. I don't think. I feel like that's the one spot where he's struggled. Yeah, I don't know. I just, to me, like it did feel like I don't mind the play call. I don't mind going for it, Jake, and being aggressive. I think at that point you're like, we got it. We can't just eventually the Ravens offense is going to break out. They're probably going to score anyways. We have to try to steal possession. I just think that, I don't know, I would have ran it with Brees or gotten the ball in Brees's hands in some way, form or fashion, or try to get.
Brees was not even on the field on.
Yeah, try to get Mechie in a crosser or something like that they did later in the game. So again, I'm not sitting here telling you he should or shouldn't have gone for it. In a lot of ways, You know, the Ravens, someone pointed out, but the Ravens in the first drive of the game on their own, 25-yard line are going for it. Harbaugh, I don't know. It worked, but it was kind of insane. I don't love the play call there, Jake. I feel like I've said that a couple times this year where, I don't know, the 2-point conversion on week 1 even, Glenn has been pretty aggressive, and I like that. I think I want to continue to see more of that. I just would like Engstrand to continue to develop that part of his coaching bag, because if he can do that, I think the rest looks really good. It's just, to me right now, 3rd and 4th downs, it feels like they get a little too they overthink a little bit too much on 3rd and 4th down. It's they get away from what's gotten them there. And the Davis 3rd and 5 run, 3rd and 7s, Jake. Remember the Dolphins game, that first drive? They did it 3 times. It was 3rd and 8, and they ran it with Davis, and it worked. It just felt like yesterday there's enough tape now where you got to adjust a little bit, and that's one spot where, unfortunately, I don't think they did a good enough job yesterday.
Yeah, it's just disappointing, too, because, again, to not have Breece Hall out there on either of those plays, Isaiah Davis is a nice role player. Breece Hall, as we saw yesterday, he's a home run hitter, man. They need to continue to funnel targets to Breece. I don't think it's an accident that Tyrod Taylor recognized Breece as such a great check down option. Breece had a really good game yesterday, and it gets marred by the fumble, which just stinks because, again, Breece Hall, I think, needs to be re-signed, Will. He needs to be a part of this team going forward because he's going to help whoever the quarterback is next year, which in all likelihood is going to be one of these rookies they take in the first round.
Yeah. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, I mean, the Breece thing is once you trade him, didn't trade him, he has got to come back, right? I think that's the end of that was kind of the end of that in a lot of ways, right? It's insane now looking at the Chiefs not giving up a 3rd rounder for Breece. What are you doing? They've had one of their last 9 or 10 3rd round picks actually be good, and that was Leo Chenal. But yeah, man, I think this Breece, I think Connor just laid it out perfectly on Badlands last night. You try to get an extension done, and if you can't, you use the tag. But either way, Breece is back here next year, because I don't want to sound too glass half full and, according to Oregon Jets, be a bootlicker for Glenn. But at some point, a young quarterback or vet, whoever it may be, is likely walking into a situation where Breece is a really good player, and you'd be getting him for his age, I think 25 and 26 season, ideally fully healthy. Again, the contract probably would go through his age 27 season, but I'm sure there won't be guaranteed money in it. That's a really nice piece to have. You probably would like to see one of Allen or Davis really claim hold to that number 2 spot. Probably looks like it's more Davis than Allen, but we'll see. Tight end room could probably use one more guy, Jake, but Mason Taylor's shown a lot of really nice flashes this year, and you expect him to get even better. He's the youngest player in the NFL this year, if I'm not mistaken. So you expect him to continue to get better. Ruckert's done better, right? The O-line looks pretty damn good, and honestly, if anything, should get better. And then receiver is a group that has potential to be pretty good, especially if they can add a guy on day 1 of the draft. The reason I say that is Breece needs to be a huge focal point. It's Garrett, Breece, and then you can draft a rookie in round 1 that can kind of come along slowly, right? Or hopefully Mitchell and Mechie continue to show flashes the next 7 weeks. So yeah, I think that this group is a pretty solid group for a young quarterback to walk into, and Breece is a huge part of that, both in the running and the passing game. What do you have, 75 yards, Jake, yesterday through the air? It just shows you, by the way, and we can talk about Fields and Tyrod and whatever. Tyrod's fine. He is the 30th best quarterback in the NFL, right? He's not that great. He's not that bad. He kind of just is who he is. Man, Fields couldn't complete a screen pass to Breece, and it shows you if you just actually throw him the football on time, he can make people miss. So yeah, it was nice to see Breece. I know he fumbled, and that sucks, Jake, because I don't know, the way that game was a little weird. 20-17, do the Jets get the ball back and have a shot to go down and win it or tie it? We'll never know. But that drive was all Breece Hall making everybody miss. And Marlon Humphrey made a good play. The dude sucks and is the corniest dude in the NFL, but he made a really good play and has been a really good player in his career. And unfortunately, the Jets are 2-9 because they've had some costly fumbles along with a lot of other bad quarterback play and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I think it's a bummer for Breece.
He did destroy Kyle Hamilton. Someone pointed out that run was – Breece doesn't do that last year, Jake. He was not lowering his shoulder and running through a top 5 defensive player in the league. that hit he put on Kyle Hamilton, I was like, whoa, good for Brees, man. Like that was nuts.
Yeah, it was encouraging. It's frustrating that, again, the Jets just seem to make the killer mistake, even with the penalties, right? They've been better this year, committing less penalties. But, man, do they make penalties in the worst time. Like yesterday, Will, they had 3 defensive penalties on
Can you
third
explain
down.
this to me? I've tweeted this before, and I didn't have the volume on. Can you explain to me what happened on – they throw it was a bad call, by the way, like Brees. It was not a late hit. But they throw a late hit flag on the Ravens. They go to call it. Then it's a hold on the Jets. No flag on the Ravens. What happened? Like, did they ever explain what happened there? Because I don't know if it's just me and I'm an idiot and I probably am just an idiot, but like, I don't know if I've ever seen that. It was a call. I thought like it was a 15-yarder. The Jets were going to be like, oh, thank God they got one call in this game because they got kind of hosed on one of the PIs. They got hosed on this. Glenn had rightfully was pissed about the substitution thing. That's BS, by the way. That's absolute bullshit that like the Ravens got away with that. Not that they were doing anything like wrong, but the Jets are allowed to substitute. It's a rule. I don't know why in some point, like, you know, we can't just like acknowledge that it's not acceptable at points where like those aren't ticky-tack things. These are we don't see those happen to any other team. I'm sorry. You just don't have it. It doesn't happen.
Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. This one is from Abram Mobrian. I butchered that, but you could blame YouTube for changing everyone's username to @signs. Screw you, YouTube. Am I the only one who thinks it's ridiculous for Brees to be off the field every third down? He could block. He's explosive in the passing game. He should be out there on third down. You are 100% correct. And here's the other thing, too. If you're Engstrand, make an adjustment and put Brees Hall on the field at the same time as Isaiah Davis. If you want Davis to be out there for pass protection, then put Brees Hall in the slot because he's better than what you have, right? If you're just ranking best playmakers, Brees is in your top 2. It's either him or Garrett, number 1. Yep. And Garrett's not out there because he's hurt. So to me, you have to be more creative with what you do have. And that's what to me is frustrating with Engstrand. I think he does some things well. And I acknowledge that his quarterback situation is certainly less than ideal, but there are things he could do better. And I think the Brees criticism is fair because it's been a consistent trend all season long.
Yeah, and if Brees is going to get exhausted, right? Like totally fair, Jake. Like guys get tired. You can't have running backs, especially like that, play every down. Then maybe Davis needs to take a first down rep, and knowing that you're going to need Brees on third down. Brees's pass route pickup to the first big time play to Mechie was also unbelievable. So like, you got to find a way to maybe manage his reps differently if you feel like you can't get enough of him down by the goal line or on third downs and fourth downs. Like maybe it's something of, hey, like first and second down on this drive, we're going to let Davis, roll with, and we're going to get Brees for third down. Like whatever it is, Jake, it's just making an adjustment. This isn't necessarily like, oh my God, everyone sucks in the whole thing. It's just like it's a simple adjustment. You find a way to get Brees on the field more in key situations. And again, I'm good with this staff continuing to learn. I think that's natural. First time play caller on offense. Like you're not going to be perfect at everything, but over the next 6-7 weeks, I'd like to see more Brees on third and fourth downs in those situations. Maybe, managing his reps differently. I'd like to see some of those short yardage plays, because if Engstrand can figure that out, Jake, there is a lot of promising things here. It's not perfect yet. And that happens. It's just frustrating because it's one of those situations where you feel like, man, you would have loved if Brees isn't the guy on third down, at least on fourth, right? It's like, damn, you did so much well to get yourself in spots. I feel like they were in Ravens territory. They each drive felt like they were at least getting 3, 4, 5 first downs, generally speaking, and putting together a nice drive. And they'd have a killer. It's the 2-1s. Jake, I don't know if you felt like this, but I felt like it 13-3 at half would have felt probably pretty on par with what should have probably looked like.
Well, the sack that Taylor took at the end of the first half,
you see him trying to throw it away, and he was like, "I can't, I can't throw it away because I'll get grounding." But at the end of the day, it wouldn't have mattered, right? If he throws it away there, it's a huge loss. If he gets a sack, it's a huge loss. Either way, it takes him out of field goal range.
I just know the situation in that spot. Don't hold on to the ball forever. The first read is not there. You got to get rid of it. Yeah,
and that's the fourth down play call. I didn't like the play call, and I don't know. What happened, but I don't know what the play call was.
It's very frustrating. The other thing we have to talk about, again, I know the defense played well for a half, and they fought, they competed. It's not good enough to have 0 interceptions through 11 weeks. I don't care how unlucky some of it might be. To me, if Aaron Glenn does not make a significant change to his defensive coaching staff, starting with the defensive coordinator, he's failed. There's no ifs or buts about it. They need to get rid of Steve Wilkes at the end of the year. I don't enjoy saying that, but this is historic ineptitude that we're watching, to not have an interception through 11 games when your head coach is a former DB who had over 40 picks in his career, when Wilkes has been around forever. That tells me all I need to know, that his scheme is no longer working in 2025. It's not going to get better in 2026, even with improved talent. That is a fatal flaw, to have 1 total turnover through 11 games. There has to be change there.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was like a placeholder thing. It's happened with the Lions in 2021. Anthony Lynn was the OC. They moved on, and he was kind of former head coach, really experienced guy, good guy, the whole thing. Wasn't good enough, and the Lions brought in Ben Johnson, and the rest is obviously history. So yeah, this is going to have to be the Anthony Lynn situation where the right process of bringing Wilkes in, right? Veteran guy who's been a head coach in this league, Drake, been around. You got to help show Glenn some of the ropes of just the day in, day out, and let him, be able to run the defense and not have to have Glenn, kind of be, helping out on offense, helping out on defense, navigating a lot of these different things. It was the right process, just probably the wrong hire. They got it, they got it wrong. He hasn't been good enough. That's it. That's it. I don't want to sit. I'm not going to sit here and, tell you that Wilkes has been good. He hasn't been, Jake. Most guys, I feel have not necessarily developed. The scheme just isn't good enough, especially from a blitz percentage, blitz pickup situation. They just don't really ever get home. And then yesterday they called a one good blitz, and Sherwood, of course, olays, Lamar and turns into a big play. So,
that's an example too, by the way, of hey, Jamie Sherwood, you're a free runner. Here's your opportunity. Other great linebackers.
Lamar wasn't moving well yesterday. You didn't have to. Why did you go high? I just never understood. I never understand it.
But that's an example where if that's Fred Warner, not only is that a sack, but there's a strip fumble too. And the Jets never getting a pass rush is why they don't have turnovers. You don't have the tip pass in the air. You don't have the strip sack. Because of all the communication issues, you're not in position to actually make plays on the ball. This to me, well, you can't isolate that one play and blame Wilkes for it. It's just a microcosm of the season where even when they do get opportunities, they never fully take advantage of them. And that's how you go 11 games and break an NFL record for not having an interception at this point of the season.
Yeah. I'd love to see them bring in, find
Jim Leonard.
Oh, I know. I've been talking about it for weeks. I don't know. I don't know if that happens, especially if Vance Joseph leaves. You would assume Leonard gets promoted to DC and, stays on that staff. But hey, if Vance Joseph doesn't get a head coaching job, and, Glenn and Muji, who've, got a lot of relationships there in Denver, are able to, come let Leonard call plays, and that'd be fantastic. I think Jim Leonard, Al Harris, are two names of former guys that have kind of our childhood. That Al Harris, man, I'm telling you, go look at the Cowboys and how much they were turning people over with Al Harris there. And then look at those corners now. And now Chicago, he goes to Chicago. They have the 3 top leading league leaders in interceptions. So those are 2 names. If the Brown staff gets blown up, I'd let Jim Schwartz come and call the defense all day long, man. That dude is every year. It feels like the Browns, no matter the quarterback situation, the talent, he's fantastic. So there'll be some good names out there. The good news is Glenn's not he's not scheme dependent from a defensive perspective. I don't think they need to bring in one specific guy only because they it's not a solid situation where you can only have guys that call his type of defense. I don't know what it'll look like, but I certainly think this is one of those let Wilkes kind of ride off into the sunset maybe and bring in somebody maybe a little bit younger variety of a Harris or Leonard, or more of a veteran maybe. I don't know if the Wink, Martindale, Jim Schwartz thing will work, but it's worth at least kind of investigating. Those guys feel like their units are always really damn good.
Yeah, look at Vic Fangio when he went to the Eagles, right? Give me the experience, proven DC. And look, I got to own the Wilkes thing because I wasn't that critical at the time. I thought,
either. I thought, Jake, it's the right process. We all screamed about Saleh not having anybody with head coaching experience on that staff and how it really hurt Saleh year one. and Glenn did the right thing from a process perspective. Unfortunately, Wilkes wasn't the right hire. It happens. Dan Campbell hired the wrong guy in Anthony Lynn, and he was able to figure it out and make it better, in year 2 with Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I just think when you look at where this team is at right now, they're not that far away if they get the right quarterback. I have major questions still about the head coach, but there's at least an infrastructure that's going to be in place for that rookie next year with the O-line, some of these receivers now, Mason Taylor at tight end. Like Brees, let's assume he's back because I just think he will be based on everything that we know about the situation at this point. It's going to come down to quarterback, which brings me to the Tankathon standings here. If the draft was today, Will, what would you be doing if you're the Jets? You could make a trade if you don't think you could get the guy you want at 4. But let's say for the sake of this conversation, and I'll ask you this every week the rest of the year, what's the move if you're Muji and Glenn right now with that first pick?
Who's on are the quarterbacks still there?
It could be your dream scenario, realistic dream scenario.
I'm kind of just, and maybe this is, I don't want to trade up, Jake, unless it's going to be a minimal,
Colts picking a second rounder next year, the Matt Miller trade scenario.
Even that's maybe. I know this is going to be obvious, but unless they are in love with one of the quarterbacks, and I'm talking full, whatever Don likes, full bloom love with one of these quarterbacks, I think I'm good. I think first of all, there's got to be some type of, you have to be in love with the quarterback. And again, I know that seems obvious, but it can't just be taking a guy to take a guy. That is a awful way of trying to have a franchise quarterback. I think, Jake, my dream scenario in some ways is they have a veteran so they don't have to draft a quarterback. And I don't know what the answer is from a veteran perspective because I'm not sure, I'm not sure the answer is going to really be Joe Burrow. I'm not really sure the answer is that, why are the Cowboys trading Dak Prescott? You know what I mean? That's the thing is these guys, it all sounds good in theory, but why are the Bengals trading Joe Burrow? What incentive do they have to do it? I'd have no interest in Kyler Murray. I'd be so happy if the Cardinals said, here's 2 second-round picks, take on the contract, and you can cut Kyler Murray before he gets on the plane. I'm good. I gladly will do that. The Brock Osweiler situation. I think dream scenario in a lot of ways is the Jets compete hard enough. This is going to sound, people are going to hate this to tank people. I hope the Jets win a couple games down the stretch where Glenn's clearly the better coach. All the young guys are the reason they win these games. And we go, oh, wow, Jake, they finished the year 5-5. They took a receiver and, I don't know, a linebacker in round. Take Carnell Tate and Sonny Styles. And you're like, well, they just plugged 2 huge holes on their roster with Ohio State guys. We know they'll be good. And whoever's playing quarterback next year is kind of dummy proof with the amount of weapons they have on offense in the O-line. And the defense should be a lot better because we had Sonny Styles and CJ Allen and linebacker. And we're like, wow, we're actually good at linebacker again. And we're going to add these guys.
Yeah, but if they win 5 games next year in your plan, they're going to get fired.
Yeah, no, I know. I agree. I know that's my point is
they need to get the quarterback this offseason. Yeah. So that's why I think if that Matt Miller trade mock is there.
I'm fine with it, but I don't know. I'm not.
If they like Mendoza, I'm good with it. I like Mendoza. I'm fine. Yeah, by the way, I think more might come out. I had Matt Miller on my radio show yesterday.
Why are we just assuming all these guys are not coming out? Everyone does this, and I can't stand it. Oh, the NIL money. Okay, cool. Sure. Jake, people realize when you go 1 overall, you're still making $11-12 million year 1 in the NFL. No one's making that in college. Arch Manning is by far the highest paid player in college football. I think he's right around $8 million.
Look at Drew Aller too. You could come back
Don
and then
is the number 1 transfer portal quarterback this year, right? He's making $2 million at Oklahoma, right? Mm-hmm. There's guys in probably the $4 or $5 million range. Okay, cool. That's half, not even half of what you're making year 1. And by going to the NFL, and if you're as good as you think he is, Dante Moore's going to be, he's a year earlier to getting a $70 million a year contract. That's again, there's probably a good chance Moore doesn't come out, right? Phil Knight can kind of throw the bag at anybody he wants. He's in a good situation. He's in a comfortable situation. Problem is, is his stock going to be that much higher next year? I think those are the conversations. People are doing is Ty Simpson going to go back? No. Alabama has an extremely high-paid backup quarterback that's a freshman. They're going to want to play him. It's nothing to do with Ty Simpson. Is Ty Simpson going to be a top 10 pick next year if he comes out? I don't know. Are we convinced 100,000%, Jake, that Arch isn't coming out? I've said this for months. I don't think he is. But if Texas finds somehow their way in the playoff and Arch keeps playing like the way he's played, and the Saints are on the clock at 1, and like does old grandpa sit there and go, ooh, I don't know. Like there's a lot that can unfold over the next couple months. Is Jaden Mayava coming out? Because my real dream scenario, Jake, and this is not going to happen, the Jets somehow in round 1 draft Carnell Tate and they draft Mekhi Lemon and they trade up for Jaden Mayava at the end of round 1. And you're like, well, we just solved all of our offensive problems. If Mayava is not good, we take another guy in next year's class. But like we have the best young receiver room in the league with Garrett, Tate, Lemon, Mitchell, and Mechie. And you're like, holy shit, like we might actually be fixed. This isn't going to happen. But if you ask my dream scenario, that's probably my dream scenario.
I just think when you look at what the Jets are going to be dealing with, if they wait till 27 and they go out there and let's say they finish this year, let's give them 4 wins. So 4 wins, and let's say they show improvement next year, they win 6 games. That's 10 wins through 2 years. They're not guaranteed a third year in that scenario, especially if they get off to a terrible start in year 2. Woody's going to be impatient. The beat is going to be saying, it's not good enough for Glenn right now. They're going to turn on him once they could get a sense that there's blood in the water at that point. It will get ugly. I think they were given permission by Woody to make the Sauce and Quinnen deals with the understanding of, hey, we're going to get the long-term answer at quarterback figured out this offseason. So then in year 3, the expectation would be after 2 losing seasons, now we start winning in year 3. Obviously, it can be expedited if that quarterback is Stroud or Jaden Daniels year 1, and they're really good. So then that brings me to the point you were just alluding to. Oh, Moore is going to go back to school. And really? If these guys are projected top 10 picks, they're going to come out. Because I look at it like this. We keep saying next year's quarterback class is so good. Well, those guys know that too. So if you have a chance to be a top 10 pick right now, you're going to try and come out and take advantage of that because you could go back to school like Drew Aller did at Penn State when he was a projected first rounder.
That worked well for them.
That's my point. You could get hurt and you could have a bad season. A year ago, Garrett Nussmeier was going to be a top 5 pick. Lenora Sellers was going to be the guy. Cade Klubnik was going to be the guy. So when we project that next year's class is going to be better, maybe, but there's also a chance it could be awful, like what happened to those guys. So that's why I think they're going to come out, and I think the Jets will be in position to get one of the guys via the trade, which is why they made the Sauce and Quinnen deals in the first place.
Yeah, like I just think we're assuming a lot of different things. And it's like, oh, I heard Dante Moore's going back to school. Probably. But do we know that? Because
what if they win a national championship? He's still coming back?
Do we know that? Are we positive? Like, Jaden Mayava might go back to school. And there's an argument to be made he should go back to school. There's also an argument to be made he should come out now. Drew out, like, these guys, it's just easier said than done to be like, assume everyone's coming out or everyone's going back to school. What's going to happen is it's going to shake out. There's going to be 1 or 2 guys, Jake, that go back to school that you're like, whoa, I didn't expect that. There's going to be 1 or 2 guys that come out that we also didn't expect. I don't know. Are the Texans going to move on from CJ Stroud? I don't know. Probably not. But what if they do? And I'm not saying CJ is the guy to trade for, but like, what if he's on the trade market? Does that change how you approach the draft, right? What happens if, I don't know, like the Eagles are like, cool, we'll actually move on from Tanner McKee. Do you take a shot on Tanner McKee, like with a 4th round pick and say, oh, he looked good in his limited action. We liked him coming out of school, and that's how we're going to try to solve that. And we're going to take a quarterback. Jake, I don't have the specific answer because there's too many variables, but we also don't know where the Jets are picking. That's part of the problem is not amongst everything else. Like, there's an argument the Jets might finish with the number 1 overall pick. Probably not because the Titans are the worst team I think I've ever seen. They also might pick 10th. I don't – it's going to change so much over the next, 6-7 weeks and how the college football playoff unfolds. Again, like, Oregon might go on a run. They might get smoked in 2 weeks, the Big Ten title game. And if they make it and, like, everyone's like, I'm kind of out on Dante Moore. Mendoza might blow up and be terrible against Ohio State. He might. There's a good chance. It's the best defense in the country or second best defense in the country. But there's also, what if he balls out and it's like, yeah, he's worth multiple picks to go move up for. So a lot's going to unfold. I think it's not just the draft, but it's, again, do the Raiders say we're going to cut Geno and Geno's available as a stopgap guy for 1 year? I don't even know if I would be willing to do that at this point. Geno looks pretty cooked. But
I just think they need a rookie on this team, Will. There's no way, unless you're telling me it's Joe Burrow, there's no bridge out there that's going to be a long-term answer that I can picture. I don't want Lawrence. We're going to do another failed 2021 quarterback on this team.
Get Mac and Trevor Lawrence in here and do the full gambit.
It's just like, to me, you made these deals because you cannot be outbid in any trade if you like one of these guys. And I think the Jets are comfortable with, or will be comfortable by the time we get to April with one of these guys. I don't see Woody being like, yeah, let's basically punt on next year. The building's going to be empty.
It's just going to be me. It's just going to be me.
Yeah. But like, and people can say, oh, that doesn't matter. It does matter to the people inside that building that fans are not going to be renewing their season tickets. Because how could you sell the Jet fan base on Marcus Mariota and a day 3 quarterback as the only other legit quarterback option on your team for another season of this regime?
Yeah, I would be curious. Like, everyone keeps saying, oh, if the Titans and Giants are 1 and 2, I think Connor Hughes tweeted this before, then it gives the Jets a reason to trade up. Like, do they have to trade up? That's my thing. Like, are we sure they're going to absolutely have to trade up? Because
no, the Jets are 3, maybe not. If they're 4, maybe not.
Like,
but that's the risk, though, right? Like, and then what do you do if you only like one of these guys and all of a sudden someone trades up in front of you?
You got to read the board well. You got to read the board. You got to do, you got to make sure that you're plugged in around the league and have good intel on what their teams are doing. Jake, I think Jets fans need to start also. There's 2 different things, in my opinion. I think rooting for losses does you no good because they're going to probably win another game or 2 or 3. Probably more likely they'll probably go 4-13 at this point. If you root for wins and they win, hey, I'm happy they won. If you root for wins and they lose, you can cope and say, hey, tank, I'm pro tank. It is what it is. If you root for losses, it just kind of puts you in a weird spot. The things around the league you need to be paying attention to because I think what happens with the Cowboys, that second round pick, is that a top 50 pick? Is it a top 45 pick? Is it a top 60 pick? Like, that does matter. Again, from trading up perspective and also just like you want to be able to get another guy for your roster. You want the Jaguars to win out. The Jaguars winning out and the Colts imploding here, the Jets having 2 top 20 picks versus, picking 27th and 3rd is very different. Lastly, like, Shedeur was not good yesterday, and don't let people tell you he was good. He went 11 for 20. He had the one really nice play. Good for him. The Browns continuing, like, you hope Shedeur plays unbelievable the next 6 weeks. You got to hope that, if you're a fan of, I guess, Tyler Shuck, you better hope that dude plays awesome the next 7 weeks. Because if those organizations convince themselves quarterback's not for them in this draft because they might have the guy internally, the classic Jets, Christian Hackenberg, we don't have to take Mahomes and Watson situation. Gino, Shedeur, and Tyler Shuck, you better be the biggest fans of those guys the next 6-7 weeks because other than that, then nobody in the top 8 picks is taking a quarterback outside of the Jets, right? Like, that's what you have to be thinking to yourself is, you want these guys to play really well, A, because it probably helps your draft position, but B, I don't think anybody's really sold any of those 3 guys are that good. But guess what? Those organizations can be easily convinced, man. We've all done it. We've done it ourselves with the Jets. Nick Hagney was convinced that Christian Hackenberg was going to be good because they took him, took him in the second round. Can you get the Jimmy Haslams of the world to say, Shedeur's our guy? Because, Jake, that's a huge domino. It is. Let's just be honest. It's a big domino that the team is pulled out of that. And again, you better hope the Raiders, I don't know, new OC, Gino finds, a new lease on life the next couple of weeks because you don't want them taking a quarterback in front of you. That's just the reality of it.
You just want them to win some games, to me, more than them believing in the quarterback because, man, like the less teams you got to get in front of, the better because the Jets are winning at least 2 more games this year, folks. They're not finishing 2-15. They've been a much improved team. They're still playing hard. Tyrod's at least a professional quarterback. They're going to have a legit opportunity to beat Atlanta this week at home, Miami at home, and the Saints game. Like, they easily can honestly, even Jacksonville is not like, oh my God, they have no chance. Like, if you told me the Jets went 2-2 over their next 4, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think they'll beat New England, and Buffalo will likely need that game. So my fear was they would rest their starters and the Jets would get a cheap win. I don't see that happening now, but I think the Jets are going to finish with 4 wins this season. I do.
Yeah, I think I said it on Saturday's pod. I think they're going to finish somewhere between 4 and 5 wins. They're going to win a game or 2 people are pissed at. They're going to lose a game or 2 people are pissed at. They're going to kind of, that's what's the reality of it. That's what's going to happen. It's the Jets. This is the NFL. This is what happens. So, look, they're probably going to beat the Falcons. They've played much better the last 4 weeks.
Jeff Ulbrich revenge game. Are you ready?
Yeah. They're going to be MetLife, 35 degrees, 40,000 people there max. And it's post-Thanksgiving, Falcons on the road. They're a lame duck staff, most likely. Kirk outside in cold weather. It's a very classic. The Jets will win that game 19-13. Kirk will look terrible because he's just not. Unfortunately, it's over. And then who knows? I'd like to beat Miami, Jake. Sorry, sue me. Like, I'd like to win a division game. I'd like to be. They literally have never beaten Tua. It's kind of annoying. I'd like to see the Jets, win that game, and then it's who knows with the Jags, right? Like that game, the Jags win 35-7 or lose 35-7. It's like they never. You have no idea what you're getting when you play the Jags.
I think they have a chance to win that game. I'll pick them to finish with 4 wins, and they'll probably be picking 6th. And I think they're going to trade up to 1 or 2. I think again, I think they made those moves because they're not going to be outbid if they have to move up for a quarterback. I think they'll be in love with one of them. That's just where I see this going.
I just really don't want to. I really would, if they trade up, I would love to avoid using those 2027 ones.
That's why I think the Matt Miller mock trade is a great and fair deal.
It was both ones this year and 2 next year.
Yeah, and you still maintain 3 first-rounders in 27
and
two second-rounders this year.
If you draft Mendoza and he's just utter dog shit, you want to be able to have the flexibility to move on. Or, if you do that and, Mendoza is good, I don't know, are you going to trade up for Jeremiah Smith? And, there's a lot of different things that could happen. I just don't know. It's so weird with what things cost, Jake, around draft time, because the Giants, they give up a 3 to move up back into round 1. And the Falcons, in basically a similar trade, had to give up a 2026 1. So, it all depends on who you're working with. They've done business with Tennessee already. There's a relationship there. Does that maybe help them? We saw the Jets. Muji comes from the Sean Payton. We baited everyone into thinking we wanted JJ McCarthy, and they took Bo Nix, and that was their plan the whole time. I don't know. Well, I'm very curious to see how I think we all are, but I don't know. I just came away yesterday. The biggest thing I think I came away from is I really wish Tyrod was healthy all year, because he's not very good. But man, Justin Fields sucks. And yesterday I only emphasized that. I know they only scored 10 points, and the Justin Fields fan club guy is going to be tweeting, left and right about Justin Fields demanding his release. I don't know, man. The offense, you just got to evaluate guys much better. Their playmakers actually touch the football. He runs a professional offense. There's no distractions. There's no nothing.
Well, that's multiple things could be true. Tyrod Taylor is not a good quarterback. He's also significantly better than Justin Fields. Anyone with eyes that watch the game could see that the Jets offense was functional. And some of the things we wanted to see, evaluation of these young skill receivers, we saw it yesterday. I think we feel pretty good about Mechie, being on the wide receiver depth chart next year. Mitchell, the same thing. Do we need a number 2, or do we already have a couple 3s in place? Great. And then I know I have Garrett, a couple 3s in place, and I can find a number 2 with that Colts pick in round 1, or using my 2 seconds and taking a receiver there, or trading back into round 1. But again, Justin Fields was not the answer, and it's been obvious for a while. And I just think there's a major concern with this head coach and this regime now being entrusted to figure out quarterback after that. You're no one's going to be able to convince me otherwise of that. I just hope they've learned from whatever they saw on Fields that clearly they were not able to maximize and coach up like they said they would. And they learned from that going forward.
Yeah, I think I talked about this a little bit on Saturday. I really think they approached this year as year 0. And I think that, the verbiage that was coming out was kind of, try to get buy-in, and you can't say it's year 0. I understand that. But if you
I think they misevaluated the roster, Will. I think they thought
they
were going to be a lot better.
I think they got here, and we're like, oh, there's a lot of talent here. Hey, I think we all did. We were like, hey, man, we're 12 months removed from this being a top 5 defense. They lost a gazillion games and 1-score games in the last 4 minutes last year. They were so poorly coached that I think that was why I was confident in saying that, hey, first-year head coach bump. Fields just plays the way he played last year in Pittsburgh, and they're not a hard schedule. They could sneaky be a 9-win team. And again, I was wrong. I'm not telling you I was right. I think the thing is they got through camp and they were like, yo, this roster stinks. And that's why they moved on from a lot of they cut guys they had just signed. They traded even guys they extended. They were like, hey, man, we're not good enough, and we recognize we're not good enough. And they kind of pivoted very quickly, which it's bad that they evaluated the roster initially to be as good as they thought it was going to be. And then I think they realized, so credit to them at the same time, of hey, man, we need more. Receivers not good enough. These guys have kind of, Jig, I don't know if you feel this way, but yesterday was a prime example to me of guys playing their way on or off the 2026 roster. And that's what I honestly want to see the remainder of the year. Like, who's worth having on the roster next year? Who's not? There's going to be a massive turnover, but it feels like Mitchell and Mechie have shown they're probably guys that should be on the roster next year, if not contributors. I think guys like Tyler Barron being a 5th-round pick this year and already being inactive with a pretty rough room showed he's probably not going to be on the roster next year. Like, I'd post trade June 1. I'd post June 1 trade Jamie and Sherwood if I could. It's the only way out of that contract. Will they do it? Probably not. But like, those are the things. Tony Adams isn't going to be on this roster next year. Michael Clemens, like, those guys have kind of made their bed already for him, and I think that's kind of what you want. Like, Wilkes has shown he's not the right guy. Like, I'm glad we don't have to go into. I'm glad we're not going to have to go into the offseason saying who's is Wilkes good? Is he not? I think we all kind of know the answer.
Super chats, cut the line. Taylor in the raffle for 2 says, Will, you're really okay with punting on next season with Mariota/Mac? That'd be tough for me to do.
I'm not okay with punting on the year at all. I'm not okay with ever punting on the year. Like, I'm not okay with punting on a game. I mean, Mac, like, isn't the.
I want nothing to do with him. The second he leaves Shanahan, he will suck. Any Jet fan who thinks Mac Jones would come here and play well has no idea what they're talking about. I'm sorry.
I'd rather take a shot on Tanner McKee. I just would. Like, I don't know. He started one game, and maybe it's just a Matt Flynn situation where he had one good game on a good roster. Maybe that's the case, but people liked him coming out of Stanford. He's massive. Like, he's been in that system for a couple of years now. I don't know. Like, that, at least for me, is worthwhile of a shot. But, like, why are the Eagles moving on from him, right? Like, what are they just maximizing that? So, I don't know. I've said it the other day, like, I'd call San Fran about Brock Purdy. I would. The contract is, if he gets traded, it's really a 2-year contract for $45 million. He'd be making less money than Justin Fields. And people can say whatever about Brock and, hey, he's only Shanahan merchant, the whole thing. Cool. Can he not be the 13th best quarterback in the league, or the 16th best quarterback in the league with the Jets, with all the talent that'll be surrounding him, and a good offensive line, and defense is going to get a bunch of added pieces, whether it's through free agency, trade, or the draft? I don't know, man. Like, I'll take 2 years. Like, what if Brock Purdy's good? Or what if the Jets just get serviceable Chad Pennington level quarterback play from him for 2 years? And then you can reevaluate where you're at then. You can draft another guy in 2027 or replace him. Like, that contract, I don't know who told him to sign that deal. That deal is horrendous for a player. Like, Jake, I'm telling you, go look at it. There are 5 years of inflated numbers at the end with zero. He has no guaranteed money after 2027. Like, that's a guy dude, tell the Niners they can keep Mac. You know that Kyle Shanahan thinks he can win with anybody. Cool, we'll take Brock Purdy. Great. And then I'll draft the quarterback in 2027. That at least is a solution. Now, will this happen? There's like a negative 12% chance it happens, but at least it's a tangible, different option than I'd rather trade for Purdy than trade for Mac Jones, personally.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on what I'm giving up.
I don't know. What if you give up one of the 2s and a 4 next year?
Yeah, I'd be interested in that. I don't want to give up a first. I want them to draft a quarterback, Will. I don't see any scenario where they unless it's Burrow, and then
Burrow and Dak. Why are they unless you overwhelm them with picks and then you're kind of just making the roster not good? I don't know. That doesn't.
I would trade 3 1s for Burrow in a second and still have everything I would need to build my team up. Right, like Joe Burrow fixes so many of your issues, and like the biggest thing that
for you
3 or maybe even 4 if I had to. Because think about it, I still would have some picks left over, and the offensive line's in place already. Like the best advantage the Jets have going forward is that of their 5 first the next 2 years, knock on wood that Olu and Membu continue to stay healthy. These guys are locked in. You have bookend tackles. You have a legit Pro Bowl level guard or center in Tippmann, who's had a really good season. That block was nasty yesterday, by the way, on one of those screens they threw to Brees. To me, that would be the only way I would be interested in a veteran option. They need to obviously bring in a bridge. Maybe it's re-sign Tyrod and bring in Gardner Minshew or Marcus Mariota, like what the Giants did, right? They had 2 vets and then they got their quarterback. I would like to see the Jets construct a room like that, but they need to get a young rookie quarterback in the room. And if you look at the NFL, while there's certainly outliers like Dak and Jalen Hurts, not first-round picks, most of the starters, I think it's 24 or 25 of the 32 starters in the league, are first-round quarterbacks. So identify you got a guy you like and coach him up. They all have talent. Coach them up.
Yeah, I still think I like Simpson slightly better than Mendoza, but I have to wait and see how the remainder of the year. Simpson hasn't played well the last couple of weeks.
We need more to come out. We were talking about earlier, Philly Noodle Super Chat. That, the more quarterback options, the better for the Jets.
I think the ideal world of guys realistically that are going to come out or not. I think if you get Moore and Maeva both to come out, it at least allows you high-end guys like a Moore who would probably go 1-1 or 1-2, whatever, and then a Maeva who can be like, I said on Saturday's pod, he is not the same prospect as Jackson Dart. There could not be less similar games. But the guy that's the back end of round one where the Giants took their generational guy in Abdul Carter. By the way, Jalen Walker was better then. He's still better now. But the point being the Jets could then take Reese or Tate or whoever their guy is early in round one, multiple guys, and then they trade up they take Maeva at the back end of round one. That's why him coming out's important. Or people like Swarsby out of Cincinnati, I don't know, he's a little Zach Wilson-ish, so I'm not sure. He's much bigger, but his game just is very it's a little ballsy. But man, more coming out changes everything because he's a guy. I would have him as the first guy I would want to take. Over I like Mendoza. I just am a little worried, Jake. The competition, Indiana's schedule is it's unbelievable. You would never know they play in the same conference as a USC schedule and an Oregon schedule. I don't know, whatever.
I think what's intriguing about Mendoza is the fact that he's going to get Ohio State coming up here. They're going to get the opportunity in the playoffs to play some good teams. So he could really improve his draft stock.
He's either going to be a guy that solidifies himself as a first overall pick, or we're going to say oof, and he's the guy that goes in round one, but everybody sits there and everybody sits there and it's ooh, I don't know, tough competition. Do we have the same situation again? Atomic clock, basement scouts are the worst. I'm not in my basement, dude. So, and even
it's a beautiful office. It really is.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Atomic
Robin says, why are we assuming anything about the draft in effing November? We surely can't talk about this team. Carry on. Welcome to being a Jet fan, Robin, which you've been a Jet fan since the Namath era. You certainly know well. So get used to hearing this. The other scenario I want to toss your way before we wrap up here, Will, is similar to what the Giants did. They picked a great player with their first round pick in the top 5. Then they traded back into round 1. Now, the Jets had that Colts pick, so maybe it's trading up a few spots, or, maybe it's just waiting till that quarterback they like falls to them, depending on where that Indy pick ends up. But that, to me, is the only other acceptable scenario for how they handle things here, because you have to come away with a rookie quarterback early in this draft. And that doesn't, again, preclude you from having the flexibility to tap in again in 27. The Cardinals did this with Rosen to Kyler Murray. I need to protect myself and keep those assets. But if the Jets say we like these quarterbacks, we don't love them, we will get our guy later on in the first round, like the Giants did with Dart. And that, to me, is another scenario I'm open to as well. But I for the life of me, the wait till 2027 crowd, you have no understanding on how an organization works. There's just no way the Jets could do that. They're not going to.
Yeah, they'd have to be a pretty true plan if that's going to be the case. They have to be talked into exactly why that was the case. I think in that case, it means they've acquired a veteran of some sort if they're waiting.
Right. Obviously, I'm assuming they didn't acquire back or Burrow.
There's no way you can just run back Tyrod and Fields. That's
no.
Obscene.
You could bring Tyrod back and another bridge, but it can't just be Tyrod and nobody else.
I wonder if this is it for Tyrod.
It wouldn't shock me if he retires. I said that earlier.
I think he'll get his last run here, and I hope he's able to have a couple moments and stuff. And the guys love him, and he can still operate an offense. And apparently, he's been a great leader. But yeah, it is what it is. Jermaine and Brees love Twitter, man. The Ravens,
what do they say now?
Some Ravens fan page was the Ravens O-line dominated, him and McDonald. And Jermaine goes, "I cooked 70 even with chip help. Having 8 back there saved him." It's just funny. Him and Brees love a cool tweet of a random account. But yeah, man, listen, they gotta have something at quarterback next year, because having the worst quarterback in the league is just not going to be acceptable. Doesn't matter how much you build the rest of the roster. They need a lot of help, Jake. They need at least one starting safety. They probably need another corner in there. They're probably going to need 2 linebackers. Quincy's probably going to walk, and Sherwood's not very good. They probably need another defensive tackle and another edge. and they probably need at least one interior offensive lineman, a premium pick on a receiver, and maybe a quarterback. Like there's a lot of things they need. So
good thing they have $100 million in cap space and 5 picks.
I said this, dude. They got to be back into the market of. We have all this cap space, and we have all these day 3 picks. Like they have a ton of picks early on, and then they have a gap, and then they have like a ton of 6th and 7th rounders. They got to do what they did, but Mike T used to do all the time, and it worked a lot of the time. Cromartie, Chris Jenkins, Holmes, Brandon Marshall, like they got to be a part of the. I don't know, man. Why don't they go trade for Brian Branch? The Lions can't pay everybody, and Glenn coached Brian Branch up to be an all-pro level player. They needed their safety. Like, I don't know, move one of your 4s and a future 4, and you'll go get Brian Branch. Like, some team wants to move off a linebacker and a defensive tackle. Like, that's what they did with Harrison Phillips. Like the Jets, they got to be in the market of what NHL and NBA teams do, where not everyone's just going to come from free agency. It's going to have to be a couple of shrewd trades.
Yep. And Muji's done well with that, so that's encouraging.
Done well with that. The Cowboys, like, I don't know, man. I was watching the Cowboys yesterday and thinking to myself, like, Jerry's done a lot of dumb stuff, but like the last couple of big moves, which was the Pickens trade, like, can the Jets go find their version of that, where a guy's got to go get paid, or someone's disgruntled somewhere and they take him on and they make him, like, I don't know, that they've got to be a part in that mix of every big name guy that's available via trade. They should be involved in every single one of them, because they have the space, they have the picks, and they, frankly, like, there's pretty much there's no position guy in this roster that should really be untouchable outside of Garrett.
Comments, questions, super chats. They will cut the line. Couple minutes left with Will Pa. Jesus says we trade for Purdy, draft Mendoza or Simpson, and they sit a year or 2. Well, I mean, if they brought in Purdy, that to me would signal like that's their guy. Mac Jones type, Tanner McKee type. That to me is you add them and still draft a QB. I think the line of delineation would be Purdy, who got paid the big contract. So I don't think they would still draft a quarterback in the first round. Maybe they would take someone on day 2 or day 3, Will. But I think if they made that type of move you were discussing, I think that would signal, hey, we got our guy. We're building with him now going forward.
Yeah, I agree. Simpson probably would benefit from sitting more, but also, like, at some level, I feel like guys, like, as much as I'm pro, like, being patient, sometimes like guys just need reps.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jets should be theoretically in a situation where there's enough talent around them that they're not walking into like a brutal situation. Like this should not be Zach Wilson 2021. It shouldn't be Sam Darnold in 18 and 19. Like it really should not be the case. If that's the case, they've royally fucked it. Like that's the reality of it.
No, I think if you're being objective, if they draft a rookie in round 1, it'd be the best situation that quarterback has walked into since Sanchez. Like, fair or not?
Yeah. And there's going to be expectation right away, and it's going to be lumps and bumps and bruises, but like, you got to figure it out. I don't know. Like, at the end of the day, man, like, figure it out. You're paid a lot of money to do so.
Real quick, Sean says he wants to extend Quincy Williams, plays with intensity.
I wish you could just pay Quincy and have paid Quincy and not Sherwood, but I don't know, man. Is there
any way they would still pay Quincy though? Like, what would he get on the open market?
Then you're allocating like, I don't know, $20 million next year, $25 million next year to linebacker. It's like,
where else are you allocating your funds to?
No, then it's like, what are you gonna go? Then you're gonna pay Leo Chenal. He's just younger, and obviously he could be a better scheme fit. I don't know, man.
What do you think of Anzalone from the Lions? I know he's 31.
Too, but again, he's 31. It's like
he's a leader though. 2-year deal, calls the defense.
Just like, I don't know. Then I'm like, if you're going to sign Anzalone, you can't really bring back Quincy. And then it's like you got two linebackers over 30. You start to kind of get in a weird spot. But like, Jake, there's not going to be as many guys in free agency as everyone thinks. That's why I'm saying it's going to have to be trades. It's going to have to be the draft. Like, I don't know. One of those second, first round picks, like if Sonny Styles is still there, or in round 2 if CJ Allen's there, like those would be really fun picks. Like they just would. I know people aren't going to get excited about linebacker, and I get it, but receiver and linebacker are still very much in need, and I'd love to solve both those issues this year so you don't have to solve it, in 2027. Like 2027, I want the Jets to be able to go into the draft. Ideally, like they have all this draft capital, and it's like, wow, they're just luxury picking best player available because they have their rosters in a much better spot. Like that's obviously a dream world, which will not happen, but it's at least it's worth the dream, I guess.
Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Last chance for Will Castro. Peter, head coach and QB suck, period. Head coach to be determined, has been better. I still have tremendous concerns about him long term. Quarterback, we know both aren't good. Tyrod is better than Fields, though, and their long-term answer is not on the team. Here's my final question for you, though, Will.
Yep.
Do we see Brady Cook start a game from now till the end of the season? Because that might be the way to save the tank if you put Brady Cook out there against the Saints.
Yeah, I think we get 3 Brady Cook starts. That's what I'm predicting.
Ooh, that'd be huge then, because they have to lose that Saints game.
Ass, by the way, I know people are excited about him. Like 10% chance, 20% chance he could be a future backup level player, and like that'd be a huge win. I don't want the Jets to have to pay $10 million for a backup quarterback. There's also like an 80 or 90% chance he's just ass. Just straight ass. So we'll see. I think probably 2 or 3
straight ass is needed though right now. Seriously.
Yeah.
They cannot win that Saints game. I'm not rooting for them to win that game.
Yeah, I want to see what they look like the next 2 weeks, and then like it kind of determines what they look like the rest of the year. But I don't know. I feel like they win both these next 2. I don't know. I do, and I think they lose big in Jacksonville.
But they must lose out after that.
Yeah, that's the way. That's your 4 wins, right? I think. Yeah. I don't know. Feels like 4 or 5 wins, Jake. It really does. They're gonna get right against the Vegas number, of course. Vegas, dude.
Vegas closed them at 6.5, so they'd be well under that.
Did they? I thought they were 5.5. Never mind.
That'd be too convenient for Glenn.
Yeah, it'd be. It's just funny. Vegas always knows, man. Like they were very much in it the entire game yesterday. They cover by a point.
Yeah, 13 points. The line closed at 13.5 on FanDuel. Crazy.
It's ridiculous. It happens every time.
Spencer Green, where's my money, man? Where's my money, Spencer Green? He bet me 100 for either I owed him 700 or 750 if the Jets had won yesterday, and he owed me 100 if the Jets lost. And guess what? The Jets lost, and I don't know where Spencer Green is at. Where's my money, Spencer? Where's my money? All right, well, plug the pod on your way out of here. Appreciate you hopping on with us this morning.
Yeah, gonna be a pod dropping. I'm gonna record right after this actually. Then I'll have one on Saturday, and then if anyone's at the game on Sunday and wants to say what's up, feel free. Oregon Jet, not you, or Atomic Cock, but everybody else, feel free to stop by and say what's up.
Well, appreciate you hopping on, man. Always good to get you on a Monday.
Thanks so much, man.
Will Parkinson with us there. Good stuff from Will. Before we get to your calls, let's talk about today's sponsor. That's Ridge Wallet. I got mine in my hand right here. I also have my Jet one that they're sending me, which is pretty sweet. But this is the sleek-looking black Ridge Wallet right here. I love it. Took all of my cards out for it because I didn't want to fling it around here on the show. But you can see on the screen why Ridge is so cool. It's a great gift for the holiday season. You don't need to carry around a giant leather brick of a wallet anymore. You don't need those Costanza wallets. Ridge, known for their sleek design, and they just introduced a brand new design. It's called the Ridge 2.0. You see it there again on the screen. They spent 12 years perfecting this. Ridge has been around a while. Now you could hold even more cash, money clips, and there's a spot for an AirTag attachment as well. It's made of the best material, RFID protection, built for life warranty, and over 100,000 5-star reviews. Ridge even has options for NFL, the Jets, Major League Baseball, some of your favorite college teams. So you could rock a Ridge wallet with your favorite team. Do it. Let's go. Holiday sale. They're offering up to 47% off if you use my promo code, which is Asman, or you just go to ridge.com/Asman. It is linked in the description. Again, it's ridge.com/Asman. It's the biggest sale of the year for Ridge. So check it out. Again, got mine right here, my Ridge wallet. It's great. I recommend it. So check it out if you want a really cool gift for the holiday season. All right. Open phone lines for those of you who want in on the conversation. Let me hit this one from Taylor. This is a $10 super chat for 2 raffle tickets. And I'm going to gift a 5-spot of channel memberships shortly here because we don't have any, and we're about an hour and a half into the show. So if you get a membership from me, you're going to be in the raffle for tomorrow's 3 signed items, and end of the show today, you pick the jersey that you want, whether it's Keyshawn, Mangold, Revis, Corbett, Martin, Klecko, or Namath. Those are your choices coming up. But Taylor Super Chat says, would it be that bad to try and move or cut Sherwood and keep Quincy? Also, Sonny Styles, perfect pick for the Colts pick. I like Styles a lot. I actually watched him the other day. Someone on Twitter posted a highlight reel of him. you can't really go wrong with Ohio State players, can you? I mean, they're especially defensive players because, as Will brought up, they have the best defense in the country this year. I like them. Linebacker's a huge need on this team, so I'd be interested in that. I don't know if he'd be there with the Colts pick, though. I've seen some mocks of him going like top 15. You might have to trade up for him if that's who you want, Taylor. As far as your first question, could they move on from Sherwood and keep Quincy? It feels unlikely, but I mean, Quincy's the better player. Sherwood has been so disappointing this year. We got to be fair. He really has been. Let's get to your calls, shall we? Gusbuster Hotline. Hit it.
When he's home, his belly is on the bed. That's what feels good. On the road, his belly's on the bed. In a dirty hotel room. He calls the show, his belly's on the bed. He's just more comfortable. He got a beard, loves the Jets, SuperChats. Where's a big fella, sleeps alone. There's no room on his bed. Well, that's a big fella.
Hey man, good segment with Will. It was really good.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I thought Will had a good perspective on everything.
Yeah. I gotta ask you a question. Yesterday, I didn't get Engstrand's play calling, and I like Engstrand, I really do, but I just did not understand in some spots, man, where we ran Isaiah Davis 3 times at midfield in a row, and then the 4th down, that play call with the pass to he was trying to go to Mechie, but it didn't look like it was right, and I just didn't get the play calling yesterday. What'd you think?
Yeah, I hated the fact that they went for it on that 4th and 2, and this was in real time. But if you are going to go for it, I think what really bothered me, big fella, how is Breece Hall not on the field on either the 3rd down play and then the 4th down play? Like, I don't understand how your best player on offense was Breece yesterday, and in the pivotal moments of the game, he's not there. And Glenn was asked about it today, and he explained it like they have a lot of confidence in Isaiah Davis. I like Isaiah Davis, but it's insulting to all of us if you're trying to sell us on Isaiah Davis being anywhere close to the same level of player that Breece Hall is.
I agree with that. But also, the play calling, you can't have Tyrod Taylor do a designed run, dude. He's injury prone. They said this last week about how they didn't want to make Fields into a running back. But this week, you're going to have an injury-prone quarterback who has a history of being injured, and he's doing like runs, and it's like you can't do that because then we're going to go right back to Fields when he gets hurt. That doesn't make sense to me, So that was an issue. How good is Briggs, dude? Briggs has been really good. We have to re-sign that guy. He is really good. And I like how our D-line now looks like a D-line. We got a bunch of big fatties in the middle, man. And that, I mean, we did well against the run yesterday. I just think I think the squad, the defensive squad is actually improving, like the D-line anyway. Pass rush needs a lot of work though. But the run stuff in game, I think that's improved significantly. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I do think Briggs has been awesome. He's under contract as well, so you got him. As far as the other guys they've added too, Mitchell is under contract, 2nd round pick. Mechie's a restricted free agent, so they'll tender him a deal. So Briggs, Mitchell, Mechie, even Phillips is a veteran, is under control for another year, around $6.5 or $7 million I saw today. So
Okay.
all the guys that Muji brought in that you want to be here, they will all be back. So I think that is a testament to him. I think he's done really well with that. Brownlee, same thing, under contract for 2 more years.
And did you see the Connor Hughes tweet about Breece fumbling the ball?
I have had very little access to Twitter, so probably not.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry about that. He said that Breece Hall has a problem fumbling the ball, and he brought up he fumbled 6 times last year, and yesterday it was only his 2nd fumble all season.
Yeah. I mean, they both have been memorable fumbles this year, but the fumbling problem was last year with Breece. This year it's been 2 fumbles. It's been twice.
And if you want a fumble, I mean, no one wants a fumble, but if you're going to fumble, you do it like Breece did yesterday, where he's actually carrying the team on his back and trying to get in the end zone. It was total effort effort play. And yeah, it sucked that it happened, but Humphrey made a good play. He was ripping the ball out, and that's something we don't do. But I just think it was, I don't think he has a fumbling problem. I thought that was kind of off, off base with that tweet by Connor Hughes.
I don't think he has a fumbling problem either, but it's also a play that just can't happen. And that's what's so frustrating is Brees was having a great game. And again, that play will define, how we remember his performance. And it's a shame because I thought he was doing everything in his power to try and will the Jets to win that game. Like Brees has been really impressive. I think Will said this since like the Bengals game. Like, I don't know, Brees seems like he's bought in. He wants to be here. I think they're going to keep him. I think the Jets have also expressed to him that they're going to offer him a contract and they want him here. I think Brees is feeding off that. That's just the read I get based on some of the comments Glenn has made about him too.
Yeah, and you had a really good comp of John Mechie to Jeremy Curley. I said that yesterday, actually, as I was watching the game with my son. I was like, he's like Jeremy Curley. So.
You think the last slot guy that like consistently got open for the Jets that I could think of, like maybe like Jamison Crowder a little bit too, but he wasn't. He was a bit of an older player when the Jets acquired him. Like Mechie hasn't played a whole lot. He's been in the league since 22, but he missed a year because of cancer. He tore his ACL. He really hasn't played a lot. Did we lose Big Fella? This connection was a little choppy anyway. Good call, though, from the Big Fella there. I want to stay with the calls right now because a lot of you are on hold, so let's let it rip.
Oh, shit. Hey, Jake.
What's up, Peter?
Well, Jake, after watching yesterday's game, I've come to a few conclusions. Number one, Glenn's already lost about 2 or 3 games for us. He lost another one. Nate Show, he lost it yesterday.
I don't know if he lost. I don't think he lost that game. He didn't help his team's chances with some of the decisions. I agree. He lost the London game. Like that game was on him. I don't think yesterday was like a coaching debacle.
Well, how about when in the first half when they passed with Justin Fields, when all they had to do was run the ball up the middle, get another 4 or 5 yards, and kick a field goal before the half? Whose stupid decision was that to throw? And then he doesn't throw the ball away because he stinks.
That was Tyrod. Yeah, I mean,
Tyrod.
Also, Tyrod can't take a sack there, though, right there. And it's not an easy field goal, though. They're at the 39 at that point. So it's not like it was a gimme. That's why they were trying to get closer.
Well, I think both quarterbacks stink, and I think the head coach stinks. What's that?
Well, we know both quarterbacks are. I mean, Tyrod's a backup, and Fields is brutal. So you're not wrong.
You're not winning anything in the NFL without a quarterback and a coach. Nothing.
No. Well, that's hopefully the plan this offseason.
And some of the things he does, 4th and 2, and, why would you go for it there? The defense was playing halfway decent for a change, and he changed the momentum of the game.
I thought if you're going to criticize Glenn for anything, I think that is the defining decision he made yesterday that I hated in real time. I think it showed no feel for the game again, which has been a huge criticism of mine of his. Like, play the field position game, man. It's 10-7. Your defense is actually playing well. Lamar can't run. He's not the same guy. Punt. You have a great punter who's pinned him inside, I think, the 10 3 times in this game yesterday. That should have been the move.
How about his clock management in some of the other games? At the end of the game.
Yeah, he's been bad, Peter. I'm not telling you Aaron Glenn's a good head coach. I think he's been horrible. I'm telling you he's been better than I thought he was Gase level bad, Ulbrich bad, when they were 0-7. I think he's improved. It's still not good, though. I'm not trying to defend him. I just think yesterday is not the game I'd be, killing Glenn for. I didn't think yesterday was one of his worst games.
How about throw the ball down the field once in a while? Throw the ball down the field.
They tried a couple times. Tyrod missed a few throws. He had Arian Smith on a play, and he missed him.
I've seen receivers open all over the place, and they can't seem to get the ball to them. And they don't roll him out. They made him both pocket passes now. Neither one of them are rolling out.
Peter, Tyrod is not a guy you roll out a ton with. Like he's 36 years old. He's made of glass.
Yeah, but if he stays in the pocket, he's going to get killed.
I mean, he made a couple of plays with his legs yesterday when he had to. Like he did scramble a little bit. Like if you watch that game yesterday, like Tyrod played exactly how a backup quarterback should play. Like he had 200 yards, he threw a touchdown, had the pick at the end. He wasn't perfect, but their offense functioned a lot better. They didn't look like an inept operation. They were a competent. I mean, they were up 7-3 at the half, and it was 10-7 in the third quarter, and the game got away from them. Right, the Brees fumble cost them a touchdown there. I don't look at anything yesterday and go, man, like this is such an indictment of the team going forward. We know they need a quarterback. Everything about the offseason is going to be about how they get that quarterback.
Well, they got a good offensive line.
Yep.
Brees Hall should never be traded.
Agreed.
And I think that we need a new defensive coordinator. And I think the team would be a lot better, especially if they got somebody like Wink Martindale. He was very good with the Giants, and I think he'd be perfect for the Jets. But we just got to wait and see. Hopefully, they get the right quarterback in the draft. You know, from what I see, Simpson has happy feet, and Mendoza, who's very accurate and everything, but he slows molasses. I don't know if he's going to be able to survive in the NFL if you really watch him.
We're going to see. I mean, it could be Simpson. It could be Moore. Could be Mendoza. They're going to like one of these guys, though, and we got to hope that whoever they take, they put them in the best position to have a chance because they're all talented if they're going in the first round. Can they coach them up?
And I also think they should re-sign Williams, the linebacker.
I like Quincy too. I hope there's a way they can because the idea, you're really going to pay another linebacker. I know we say that, but I'm thinking to myself, well, who else am I paying? Like the good players don't get the free agency very often. I'd rather pay to keep someone I know is good, that plays with energy, that wants to be here, than bringing someone else that, could be the next Tremaine Johnson for all we know.
Yeah, those two receivers that we got look decent. Look like they're going to be pretty good.
You have them with Garrett, plus maybe you add someone in the draft now with one of your 2 second-round picks. Like that. Once again, I have major questions like you with the head coach, and they need a quarterback. But if they actually got the quarterback, I don't think they're that far away from having a decent team based on what they already have on their roster on offense.
And we're going to need a bridge.
Yes. You're going to need a bridge, and maybe it's 2 bridges. Maybe it's Tyrod and someone else, and then they're going to draft a rookie, like how the Giants had Wilson, Winston, and they got Dart. Like I'd like to see the Jets completely revamp the QB room. Even if it's like Minshew, trade for Tanner McKee, and then still draft someone. Like until they get the quarterback, none of this matters.
No. And the other thing, Jake, until we start making some turnovers, we'll never win. We need some interceptions, some fumble recoveries. Defense got to be a lot more aggressive, knocking the ball out. And, it's something that's been going on for quite a while now.
Yep, I totally agree with you, Peter. I mean, it's the fact that they don't have an interception through 11 games is astonishing. It really is.
It's unbelievable. No fumble recoveries, nothing.
One all year. Brownlee in London. That was the only turnover.
And Briggs is very good, and so is Brownlee.
Yep.
So those are 2 pieces that they got that we weren't expecting to get. So
in season, yeah, that's what gives me some hope for Muji. His trades have been very good. I thought he got tremendous value for both Sauce and Quinnen. They got to obviously get quarterback right. They struck out on Fields in a major way, and that concerns me because it's not that they tried with Fields. It's what they said about Fields. And then and as bad as Fields was, they didn't do him any favors with how they utilized him. It's not like they built the offense we thought they were going to have around Fields. I mean, and it's also an indictment on, while Muji gets credit for Mechie and Mitchell, he should get criticism, as should Glenn, because they work in a tandem, for the fact that we all knew they were lacking at receiver. And the fact that Mitchell and Mechie were acquired 2.5 weeks ago, and they've already now, leapfrogged everyone else on the depth chart for playing time speaks volumes on how thin they were in that room in the first place.
Correct. Well, hopefully they'll get their act together. We'll have a good draft. I tell you the truth, I can care less whether they win or not. I hope they lose because I don't want them giving away any draft choices.
I get that, yeah.
So I'm just hoping that they get one of those quarterbacks and hopefully a coach that could coach him properly, a quarterback coach, call somebody in because and just change the defensive coordinator. Anstram might be all right with a real quarterback.
I agree. Wilkes has got to go.
He's got to go.
The defense wasn't even horrible yesterday. It's just when you don't make any game-changing plays, when you don't turn teams over, like you don't have a chance to win in today's NFL. Like you need to make plays. The Jets never make a big defensive play ever. Like the special teams won them a game, right? Made 2 huge plays against Cleveland. The offense has won games this year where they won in a shootout in Cincinnati. Like the Jets do not get any game-changing plays from their defense, and that is a joke.
True. All true. Okay, Jake, nice seeing you. and I'm always on. I'm always watching.
You're the
You're
best,
doing a-
Peter.
You're
I
doing
can't
a
wait for
good
your
job.
Thanksgiving on Thursday. What is being served at the Castro household?
Oh, we're going out for dinner. We're going to where are we going? Carmine's in West Palm Beach.
Nice.
Palm
Enjoy.
Beach. Yeah. You too. Have a good Thanksgiving, and you're doing a good job on ESPN. I'm proud of you, Jake.
Thanks, Peter. You're the best. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Peter Castro. Love it. By the way, speaking of ESPN, I'm working Thanksgiving morning and Black Friday morning. I'm doing the morning show on the station from 6 to 10 a.m. So if you're up early, driving somewhere for Turkey Day or doing shopping on Black Friday before all the college and the NFL game that day starts, put on ESPN New York, download the app, and you can listen in. It should be on YouTube as well, on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. Comments, questions, super chats, they will cut the line. I'm going to gift 5 memberships coming up because I'm going to do it right now. We're an hour and 40 in, and there hasn't been one gifted membership in show. So let's change that. I'm gifting 5 right now. If you want one, last chance, you better hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and that will give you a chance for the YouTube algorithm to randomly select you. But 5 from yours truly are about to be gifted. And if you get one from me, I'm going to shout you out. Hit it, Joe B.
It's up to you, New York, New York.
All right, the following 5 listeners are now Asmaniac channel members. Mark Moose, Chris Body, Mind, Spirit, Robert C., Jet Fan for Life, and Joanne Holla, all receiving a gifted membership. Boom. Here's a 5 spot. Put you guys in the raffle at the end of the show, your chance to win a Jets jersey. You pick the legend you wanted in, Namath, Klecko, Martin, Corbett, Revis, Mangold, or Keyshawn are the choices. Okay. Back to your call, shall we? Doug from an undisclosed location is next. Hello, Doug. Oh, undisclosed furniture. Your name was too long. I couldn't see it. Hello, Doug.
Good morning, Jake. I have a couple questions. One, so like Will laid out the Mayava scenario, like you drafted him. So
I gotta watch him more, by the way. I've only seen him play like once so far.
Yeah. But so say he comes out and then say the Jets are picking like 6 or 7. They stay there. They pick in this scenario, I say they sign Alec Pearson free agency to be your wide receiver 2. They take Caleb Downs and they take Mayava. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I don't hate it. I need a rookie in the first round. I need a plan at quarterback that is not wait till 27.
Yeah, because like I agree with like you don't need that first pick to be the quarterback. Like you said it, it's not always the top pick that is the right quarterback. And also, like you just don't know who's going to come out. You don't know what's going to unfold, and you just got to see what's happened. But also, kind of going to the game on Sunday, I think that not only do I think the Jets are going to win, I actually think we're going to force a turnover on Sunday because I was on Red Zone for the later games, and I saw some clips of the Falcons Saints, and boy, both of those teams looked awful yesterday. I think if you're on Sunday, you got to do what the teams did to us when we were starting Justin Fields. Stack the box. You just can't let Bijan beat you because especially if Drake London doesn't play, you can't let Bijan beat you. Force Kirk Cousins to make throws. He's not immobile at this point. And stack the box. I think if you get beat by this version of Kirk Cousins, then that was meant to happen.
Look, Kirk Cousins, I think, is not any good, but Atlanta has some real talent on defense. They can make life difficult for Tyrod. And if Atlanta protects Cousins, they do have playmakers where they could, potentially score enough points to win that game. It wouldn't shock me if the Jets won, Doug. I don't think it's going to be as, easy as you make it sound based on your analysis.
No, I think for as bad as like we've been, I think it's a good matchup for us. Let's say that. Like, and I know our defense doesn't do anything special, especially forcing the turnover, but I think our line's decent. Like Bijan, yes, you're scared of Bijan, and they do have some decent players, but Kyle Pitts is a bust.
Is Drake London going to be back for that game, or he's still going to be out?
I don't know. That's why I said if Drake London isn't playing, that's why I say you stack the box. If Drake London is playing, it's a different story because he is a difference maker. But like, I think like with Kirk Cousins' lack of mobility, if you can do what you did this past week against the Ravens and get out to a lead early, I think that plays really well in because you can send more, and then Jermaine and Will could get better pressure on Kirk because again, he can't move, and he does throw like there's a couple bad passes that he has, and I do think that's why he isn't in the cold when he's outdoors. He's not as good. Those are just factors I think play into hand. I do think they win 2 out of the next 4 games, like a lot of people are projecting. What the 2 out of the 4 are, I don't know, but I do think they win 2 out of the next 4.
I think they finished with 4 wins, so that it wouldn't shock me. It really wouldn't.
Yeah. And then, like I said, they have so much money to spend. I would be happy to do with the Alec Pierce draft BPA available with that first pick, and then also the Colts pick. I think it's going to end up being higher than we expect because
I don't think it's going to be 28. I don't.
No.
I think it could be closer to the lower 20s. I still think they're going to make the playoffs. So people are like, oh, they're going to completely collapse.
I mean,
I'm not going to go there just yet. They lost yesterday. They lost to the Chiefs on the road. Like people are going to calm down.
I don't think they're going to completely collapse, but they do have to play the Jaguars and Texans 4 times. So
they do, but I don't think the Texans are great. Like the Texans have been up and down all year too.
The Colts consistently always lose in Jacksonville. I can't remember the last time I've seen them win in Jacksonville. So, I still think they're going to make the playoffs, but
hey, I'd love for them to collapse. You tell me that pick all of a sudden becomes pick 18. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
by the way, makes it a lot easier to trade up and get your quarterback. If you have pick 18 this year, keep both your 2s and still move back into round 1 and get a player you want in that scenario anyway.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things at play. And like I said, you have so much money. Will has been tweeting it a lot. You're going to be in the play for the market for veteran trades. And Muji has shown propensity. Words are hard today. It's a Monday morning or Monday afternoon now. For those player swaps, late round swaps. I mean, McNamara has been great. That was like, I can't remember. That was just signing, but late round player swaps. He's done good on the evaluation. I feel better about Muji than Glenn at this point, but Glenn has made improvements. They are definitely a better team in the last 4 games than they were the first 7 games. And off a bye, they were ready to play 1. Off a mini bye, they came out ready to play. So you can see the increments improving. And Angstrom has shown a lot of promise. You still have concerns, but he's shown promise. Banjo is maybe one of the best special team coordinators in the NFL. So you feel really good about 2 2/3 of your important coaching staff, and then you just got to get rid of Wilkes. He just doesn't do anything innovative. It's boring. People see it coming. You just got to find. The dream would be Leonard, but like find a good young defensive coordinator who can change his defense, do some dynamic stuff, and go more towards like the modern way of thinking in the NFL. Because Wilkes is just not it. And like you said, you can't fault them for the idea of it. It was a good idea at the time. Get a veteran guy in here with experience so Glenn can learn. It's just
I like the hire at first. I thought and he'd been an interim head coach. He had been a head coach before. I regret not looking more into what happened with him and Shanahan and San Fran. But look, I just hope Glenn makes a change there and moves on from him because someone needs to be held accountable on the coaching staff side. If this defense had 8 of its 11 starters back, is this bad, and there are 11 games in and don't have an interception yet. It's just not good enough. And McDonald's regressed. Jermaine Johnson, I'll give him a pass because he's coming off injury. He's very hot and cold as well. Quincy was bad. Now he's playing a lot better. Sherwood's been terrible. The secondary's been horrible. They have communication breakdowns every week. To me, there needs to be a total revamp of that side of the ball.
I agree with you, and I think that'll be a lot of stuff. That I think most of the defensive side will be addressed in free agency more so than draft. I do think you'll draft some defensive guys, but when you have most cap space in the NFL or one of the teams with one of the most cap space in the NFL, you got to spend it. Like, I hate to praise the Patriots, but look what the Patriots did this past offseason, and it worked out. They helped change that defense with the money they had, and it's helped them out a lot. Now they've beaten just bad teams. It's crazy the schedule breaks they've gotten, but you need to do that. You just got to use the money right. Also, one last thing, and then I'll let other callers get on. I like another thing to praise Muji for. I think outside of Tyler Barron, who's awful, this draft class has been very good. You have a stud franchise tackle in Membu.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor looks like a good, promising tight end. You need now with him playing with Tyrod, who's not good, but he's a competent NFL quarterback, with Justin Fields, who's just not. You see more flashes. A.Z. Thomas has looked good. Like I sent the super chat earlier that DPI on him was a joke. DeAndre Hopkins yanked down his face mask. and he grabbed him because he yanked down his face mask. How that's called a flag? It just the NFL officiating is terrible this year, but doesn't matter. Malachi Moore, he's taking his rookie bumps, but he looks like a competent player. Kiko, he doesn't really fit the NFL mold, but he's good at run stuffing. He's just not the perfect fit for the modern NFL, but he's shown he's a competent, at least special teamer, and can play maybe on your first and second down, run plays, stuff like that. And then, Tyler Barron sucks. But you see a lot of promise out of the guys. And Arian Smith has shown progression, but now he's more in a natural role where he's not forced into be your 2 or 3 because you guys have Mechie and AD Mitchell, who are more suited to play in an offense right now. And now it allows Arian Smith to learn more.
Doug, great call.
Have a good one. Happy Turkey Day coming up.
Happy Turkey Day. Hit it, B. I do think there's something to be said for the receivers they already have. Now, I see Doug's getting killed for being too positive there. You want to be positive, Doug? I'm not gonna jump you. I think the draft class has been solid. I think AZ Thomas is kind of like the X factor for just how good the class is. Like Membu's real stud. I think Moore has been okay. I don't know if he's a guaranteed starter for next year. I think we are maybe inflating, what he is as a player just a bit. But there's definitely some positives. I don't want to be overly negative on that. They got to nail the quarterback this offseason in the draft. That's what it will all come down to. Black Gypsy has gifted a channel membership. Thank you, Mr. Gypsy. You're the first person to do it in show. Black Gypsy in our raffle for one. Going to get right back to your calls right now. A lot of you still want in, which I certainly appreciate. On the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline next is none other than Sean.
Sean, he wears batshit crazy glasses. Spikes his football in the toilet. He might be a little drunk. 3D Gary thinks the guy is a midwit. Is that a Cybertruck on his face? Let's ask Sean Sugator.
That ending with the Sugator, that was funny. But Jake, I think we have the building blocks, man. We do. We have some building blocks. The offensive line looks good. I think they're above average. I just think we can go places if we get a quality quarterback. And I think Mendoza, of course, he's going to go through his little, bumps and triumphs and trials. But I think he can be an accurate quarterback. I think he has a good arm. Mobility is there. But I think with the right coaching, he could be a gem. I'm not gonna be tackling any dummies today, Jake. I didn't get a dummy yet. But so that's my analysis right now.
You off from work today, Sean?
Yeah, I'm pretty much, I pick my own time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an independent worker.
What do you do?
Basically, I do classify I do odd jobs. I put I put it out there on the internet. Then I'm independent worker that I'll do whatever. I do landscaping, roofing, all that stuff.
Any lawn mowing?
Yeah, I do that stuff. Yeah, I do everything.
I got a guy that is a big time lawnmower. Would you like to talk to him?
Who's the lawnmower? Who's the lawnmower man?
Too bad my rope on the mower broke this morning. It's shot.
Beast, I knew you were the lawnmower man.
Yeah, well my mower just took a big the rope on it busted. So I gotta go get a replacement. Oh, that's gonna be so lovely. Yeah, but what you see is what you get. That's life. But that game yesterday, did you watch it, Sean? Did you see how there's a lot of there's communication, but not enough. Not enough. There was a
good
There's a slight communication, but not enough. See, here's two differences. Here's communication right here. Here's slight communication right here. What's that tell you? This is working. This is not working. You start looking at positives and negatives, checks and balances. your bumps and bruises and yada, yada, yada. You know the rest, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I do see next year, I already made it loud. I already made it very, very clear that I think it's time that Steve Wilkes has to, you know what that means, right?
Yeah. Fly the coop.
He's got to go. I don't see anything in him. He don't have no drive in him. No, I don't think so. He's too slow. You know, he had his time, but unfortunately it's called, dude. You were great in Detroit, but unfortunately, here's the difference between fantasy and reality. In Detroit, you look like you're a working man's man, but when you come here, it's a whole new world. New York's a different place. 15 newspapers, multimedia coverage, people all over you, newspapers, everyone writing stuff about you in newspapers. It's a whole new world out here, a whole new atmosphere. And next year, I think it's best. And you're right about one thing. Mendoza should come. I think it's time for him to come aboard. And I think he'd fit just right on the train. But I don't see Fields making it next year. He's because what do you see in Fields? I'm gonna ask you, what do you see? Don't put too much on this on because you'll have a roasted asshole by the end of the night and going,
Great insight there from hold on. I took the wrong guy off the air. There we go. Sean, go ahead and continue.
You knew Beast was gonna dominate the conversation there.
Yeah, I wanted you to get a word in, Sean. You called in. You waited on hold patiently.
With Beast, it's hard to because you don't want to intervene in his glorious madness. So, you want to,
What did you think of Garrett Wilson's play yesterday?
He did not play. He's on the IR for the next 4 weeks.
See? Shout out to everyone who says Beast doesn't watch the games. Guess what? My man done.
Gobble, 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 gobble.
Continue, Sean.
No, he watched the game. He did. We were competitive up until the third quarter. When Brees, unfortunately, he was held up. And he was stripped. It'd be nice for our defense to do shit like that.
That's the point. Anyway, that's why I think they need to make a coaching change there. Some of it's got to be schematics and these guys just not being on the same page. Like when you have all these coverage breakdowns, you're nowhere near to even coming up with an interception or a fumble if you guys are running wide open.
Yeah, exactly. We just need to integrate. We need to come up with a perfect system. And right now, it's the cogs aren't right always. We're not making Swiss watches. We're making like Casios. So. We got to start making some, changes to where it's a fully functional organization that we can do great things. But
yeah, look, are they playing better than they were at the beginning of the year? Yes. Am I thrilled or overly confident it matters and they're showing real signs of growth that's going to affect them going forward? I'm not there yet, right? Because it was so bad at the beginning. So great, you're not historically bad. You're just kind of a run-of-the-mill bad team right now. That's kind of what they are. Yeah. There's some signs of improvement. They got some players that could be, a part of this thing. It will come down to the quarterback. And I think Glenn, if he's going to be here, he's got to learn a lot from these mistakes and especially hire a real defensive coordinator in the offseason.
Exactly. I agree with you. All right, Jake, have a great Thanksgiving and thanks for taking my call.
Sean,
over out.
You're the man.
Gobble, 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 gobble.
And I still plan on doing a show tomorrow and Wednesday as well, even with the holidays. So I know a lot of you will be on the road the next few days. So we'll still give you some content to listen in and hopefully make your drive or your flights better. Gypsy Moonchild in the Asmaniac raffle for one. All right, we still got some great callers to go on the show. Let me get to this one from Bino, and then we're right back to the calls. You guys are going to love what's coming. Bino says, Jacob, you're right. The quarterback is all that matters. I'd rather pick one organically than trade much-needed draft capital to trade up. Also, Mechie looks like a steal. If I win, one punch, Briga gets the prize. Bino gifting his memberships to Briga. Hey, Briga. Love that. Bino, you're the man. And I agree with you. Mechie does look like a real player for this team. And I think Mitchell looks like a real player. Maybe you have your slot, your number 3 receiver already. Great. I'll get a number 2 in the draft. I'll make a trade. Receivers get traded all the time. There's something to that. More calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is...
It's Mad Max ain't yapping about Jets. That boy, he's jamming. He's slamming. Freaking dancing. Wall smashing. I'm Jake Asman. If Mad Max ain't...
Can you guys hear me?
That boy, he still be
Jake, can you hear me?
Then call Jake Asman. He got an orange wall.
No.
Can you guys hear me?
No.
Let's talk about the Jets game. So I think the Jets, my predictions for the Jets-Falcons game. So I think the Jets are going to beat the Falcons. You know, the reason why is that Kirk Cousins was horrible in cold weather games. I understand they beat the Saints last week. I was watching that game. I was watching a little bit of Red Zone, but I feel like and this is just my opinion, Kirk Cousins is horrible in cold weather games. He had almost 3 interceptions bad down. He could have gotten a pick six from the Saints. I just think the Jets are going to beat the Falcons. What's your thoughts on that, Jake?
I think they have a great chance to win, Mad Max. I'm going to reserve my pick until I get a better idea on who's actually playing for both teams here when we get some injury updates here. Because if Drake London doesn't play, that's a big deal for Atlanta.
I mean, I played. Michael Penix is out, and then Drake London's also out. I mean, Drake London, I don't know if he's playing, but I highly doubt it. But I think the Jets are going to win. My score prediction, I'd say like 24-10. Jets going to beat the Falcons 24-10. What's your thoughts on that, Jake?
I don't have a score prediction for you yet, Mad Max, no matter how many times you try and pry it out of me.
Okay. Let's hear about this O'Leary wedding. Let's hear about this Matt O'Leary wedding.
I'll tell you about the O'Leary wedding if you tell us about what you were up to this weekend, Mad Max. I heard you were out and about.
Oh, man. I was out this weekend. I was at a couple of house shows, Jake, and then I went to a frat party, and then I was watching.
Yeah.
I was watching, and then I was watching the Jets game, and I was watching the Eagles game with some of my boys in college. Oh my God, the Eagles game was crazy. The Cowboys had that crazy comeback because the Eagles were up 21-0. I don't know if you were watching the game, Jake. Oh my God, the Eagles looked horrible. Patullo is like a horrible coordinator. I think he's even worse than Angstran, honestly.
Where are you calling us from, Mad Max?
Like, did you watch the Eagles? Their offense is inept, and Patullo is a horrible coordinator. But what my boys said, like one of my friends who's an Eagles fan, is like, oh, because he doesn't really watch the Jets. He was like, oh, Fields is like, he's good as like, oh, because his fantasy, because Justin Fields, he's like, oh, Justin Fields is a bad situation. Like, no, he doesn't even want. He's an Eagles fan. He's just jealous because like, he doesn't understand, like, bro, how bad Fields is. He's just inept.
Where are you calling us from, Mad Max?
I'm talking about my boy, my friend Tommy. He was like, oh, because I was at their party. I was watching the Eagles game. He was like, Tommy's like, oh, Justin Fields was like, he's like, oh, he's in a bad situation. I'm like, bro, you only like, do you watch the Jets, bro? And I'm like, and because I was telling him how Fields is like the most unplayable quarterback I've ever seen.
Mad Max, where are you calling us from?
Oh man, I'm calling from the student center, Jake.
Are you unable to answer any questions I ask you?
I was getting a breakfast sandwich.
What did you have in your?
I just got a little breakfast sandwich, Jake. You know what I mean? Yo, Jake, what's the deal with the Falcons game? What's the deal with the Falcons game? Are you trying to get 4 free tickets from I'm going with my boys to the game from home.
Mad Max, I promised you 2 free tickets should you be on time to class.
What's the deal, Jake? Are you trying to get what's the progress looking like?
Let me talk. Shut up. Let me finish. God damn it, Mad Max. I will get you 2 free tickets if you are on time for your remaining classes. When's your last day of school?
2 free tickets?
Yes, I promised you 2 free tickets.
Okay, sounds good, Jake.
Oh, God, I can't do this anymore, Mad Max. Stop cutting me off.
What do you guys' opinion on me doing a backflip through this orange wall?
Max, your internet is so delayed, and you're on cocaine and Red Bull, so it's an impossible conversation to try and have a back and forth with you. But as promised, Mad Max, 2 Jets-Falcons tickets are coming your way. Speaking of tickets, if anyone has tickets to the game they're not using, I know it's a tough time of year with the holidays. As always, we will donate them to listeners who can use them. If anyone wants to make a donation to an Asmaniac in the holiday season here. We've given out a lot of tickets the last couple of home games here. Jets have 2 home games in a row. So for any season ticket holders out there, anyone with tickets they're not using, if you want to donate it, because you're not going to make a ton by reselling it. Let's be real. No one's buying them. I'd be happy to distribute to listeners who could use them. Take a family member, a kid to their first game, all that. So reach out to me. Email's in the description, but it's just asmanjake@gmail.com. All right, folks. People have been waiting to hear from this man. They want to know, where is he? Where has he been? Well, he has returned from the hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Gator says, I think Big Cho might need an intro.
Big Cho. Yeah, it's nice. I like my recliner. No, I just called to check in. Big Cho. I don't like all those wrinkles on my head. I don't have that many wrinkles. We're talking about Big Cho. My implants are coming in 3 months.
The Kardashian ones?
I put the jet gear on for you. Been running some errands early. Came home just chilling. Big Cho. Jake.
Big Cho.
How you doing, my brother?
I'm great, Big Cho. When did you get back from the hospital? I know you emailed me, but tell the audience.
About 1 or 2 Saturday afternoon.
And how we feeling, Big Cho?
Feeling pretty good. The knock on wood, the nerve pain is gone. Big Cho. They had to go in and revisit the L5S1 vertebrae, fuse that, and put in new rods that were broken with better hardware. So I was excited today. I finally shaved.
We're talking about Big Cho.
Got in the shower.
Big Cho.
So Big Cho's nice and clean cut and all showered up.
Let's go, Big Cho.
You know it.
Big
hey,
Cho.
You know, you were talking about donating tickets.
If people have tickets they're not using, and instead of trying to resell them for pennies on the dollar, would prefer to donate them so someone could take a child to their first game, or armed forces members, I always try to distribute tickets to people that could actually use them and give them that experience.
What about if I don't have tickets, but you know, if somebody wants to take their kid, I wouldn't mind buying a ticket for them.
Well, that's very nice of you, Big Cho.
Yeah. Especially around the holiday season.
Ho, ho, ho. Hey, Big Cho, what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I'm going to be here by myself.
Will you be Cho and chilling?
Yeah, one of my former neighbors who took me to the hospital and back, he's bringing me over a hot plate around 2 Thanksgiving dinner. But my daughter's with me now. Well, she's not technically with me. She's out getting her car done and going to the gym, but she's been with me since I got home on Saturday. So she's spending like 3 days with me, and then she's going to be with her mother starting Tuesday afternoon, late afternoon, until she comes back over here on Saturday.
Hey, Black Gypsy wrote in, ho, 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 Big Cho, Cho, Cho.
That's right. Big Cho in the house. Got the tree up and everything. My daughter put the tree up yesterday.
Hey, Big Cho, repeat after me. Ho, 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 Big Cho, Cho, Cho.
Ho, 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 Big Cho, Cho, Cho.
Big Cho.
Hey, I want to give you an update on our basketball team. We're 3-1. Went down to this tournament and wreaked havoc. Won both games by like around 30 points down in Atlanta. So we're doing real well. That's Catawba College.
Big Cho.
So we're doing well. You know, I was going to ask you a question about the game yesterday.
What do you got for me, Big Cho?
Well, we're not that many plays away from winning games. I mean, would you agree with that?
I feel like we've said this a lot, though. Like, either you win or you don't. They definitely have been improved in some areas, but they're not good enough when they continue to make mistakes to overcome it because they don't have the quarterback that could bail them out.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get a quarterback in this year's draft coming up.
That's where it all starts.
I kind of like the guy from Indiana. Mendoza.
Fernando Menchoza.
Is it Menchoza? You like him?
Let's take him.
You like him?
I like him. Yeah, I like him. I've watched him play the most of any of the potential options so far.
Well, you got him. You got Moore from Oregon. You got the guy from Alabama.
Correct.
Who else you got? Oh, the guy from Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Diego Papia. I don't know if he's a first-round guy, though, based on his size.
Right. Well, I'll go to my grave saying this. I said all last year before the draft that we should have got Dart. Maybe not at, would we pick 7? Maybe not at 7, but do what the Giants did and get back into the late first round and draft him. And that looks like a big steal, in my opinion. What do you think about that?
I believe that would have been the only scenario where Dart would have made sense. I think the Jets went into this year, though, with no intention of taking a quarterback early. They wanted to give Fields a real chance here, and they recognized 2026 would be their chance to get a quarterback if it didn't work out, which I don't think they thought it'd go as bad as it did with Fields.
Okay.
We're talking about Big Joe.
Hey, what college does Mad Max go to?
Catawba.
No, he doesn't. You liar.
Big Joe.
I don't think I could deal with that if he was at Catawba.
He's on the basketball team, too.
We're talking about Big Joe.
He'd talk us to death, wouldn't he?
I think he goes to Brigham State.
What's he go? No, what? Seriously, where's he go?
I think it's Brigham State.
No, that's a caller.
Dave Brigham? Who do you think they named the school after?
Yeah, well, I mean, what college? Is it a mystery or what?
Let me look it up for you. I think it's BCU.
What's BCU?
Big Cho University.
Jacob, if I was up there and I wasn't hurting, I would strangle you right now.
You'd strangle me. Big Cho. Well, no violence. It's never the answer.
You're not giving me any good answers. You're giving me crappy answers. You don't know what school you went to? Just say it.
Black Gypsy says he goes to CSU.
And what does CSU stand for?
Chew State University.
What is it?
Chew State University.
I've never heard of it.
Sorry, I misspoke. It's actually Cho State University.
Trying to get some answers out of you is like pulling teeth, man.
Hey, let me bring on my answer guy. Beast, where does Mad Max go to school again?
I have no idea about pulling teeth. I had this one pulled, and I've had this one pulled. Both of them, wisdom teeth. I'll tell you, that's some tough stuff. See, you try sitting there with a Novocaine, and you're going, all right, then I tell you to sit up. Then I sit up. Gobble, 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 gobble.
Beast is no help. You got no help, Jake.
Yeah, he didn't really provide the answer we wanted, did he?
No, you have no help defense, man.
Nope.
What happens when the defense breaks down on the man-to-man coverage of the ball? We got no help defense.
Easy dunk, Big Cho.
Big Joe.
No doubt.
I believe Mad Max goes to Rowan University, according to listener Amanda.
Rowan? Where's that
I think it's in BC somewhere.
Where?
Big Choville.
Big Joe.
Jake. You're impossible. I wouldn't put up with you if I didn't like you. You know that, right? Big Joe! Jets, Jets. You still there, Jake? Big Joe. Jake. Jets, Jets. Hey, Jake, guess who I got a text from yesterday?
Big Joe.
Jake, guess who I got a text from yesterday?
We're talking about Big Joe.
Jake.
Big Joe.
Jake, are you there?
You okay, man?
I don't know. Jake left me. I was gonna tell him who I got a text yesterday from Dre Day. He sent me a picture of him and his buddy at the Baltimore game.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I saw that match anyway. I saw the whole thing. How you feeling? You be all right?
Yeah, I'll make it.
I got you some ornaments, and I got you half of a town of Bethlehem. If you want me to send it to you, I'm gonna need everything off you so I can send it ASAP.
What do you have?
I got half of the town of Bethlehem for you, and I got you some ornaments and some hooks for those ornaments. You can use them. Because hey, I keep spares, but generally I got so many spares it's not even funny. And let me just say this: when it comes around these times, this is the time to you really, really get it together, because this is the holiday time, and this is time to enjoy the good things in life. But take good care of yourself. I don't want to see you go back in the hospital. That's dangerous.
No, email Jake so you can get my address.
I'll tell you what. I'll see what I can do for you, kid, and I'll take good care of you. Hey, just remember, Jets fans take care of Jets fans big time. When it comes to situations like this, somebody's got to put their foot down. And I can also throw in a little holiday Oreo. If you're an Oreo person, are you an Oreo person? I'm going to ask you that. Are you an Oreo guy?
Baltimore Orioles?
No. It's the Christmas Oreo. They already got them out in the stores. I already got 3 packages. Do you need one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll tell you what. I'll add that into as a little bit of a bonus for you. So, if you need anything else, you let me know ASAP. I'll take good care of you, and then you know the rest. Yada yada yada. You know the rest.
Jets.
Enlightening conversation between two all-time greats. All right, last chance for the raffle here. I was counting up the names. Shout out to Boomtown, who joined in on the raffle fund. He gifted a membership. Yeah! Shout out to SMP Boy FDY in the raffle for one. We're giving away a Jets Legends jersey in a matter of moments. Medic, I don't think I hit your super chat. I apologize. I'm just seeing this now, trying to get caught up on everything. Outside of quarterback and center / guard and receiver, we could see a heavy defensive draft. For sure, Medic. Also free agency, heavy on defense. Heavy on defense and free agency. I think they're going to use the offensive picks early on quarterback and receiver still. We will definitely see, post-premium picks, like a lot of day 3 picks, I think, used to try and rebuild the depth on the defense here. Other super chat from Rick Gordon here. What a wasted season. This team could be 7-4 with a coach/QB. Glenn, a terrible decision maker, going for it on 4th and 2. He has no feel as a head coach. I don't know if they'd be 7-4, but they would definitely be better than 2-9. I agree with you, Rick. I think Glenn has been bad this year. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Has he improved? Yes. Is he a good NFL head coach at this point? Absolutely not. We have to be honest. Some places won't give you honesty. I will. So you could agree with me or disagree with me. That's fine. But I don't know how you could look at this team and be like, yep, we got the right head coach. It's a giant TBD, if we're being fair. They should have more than 2 wins. I don't know if they'd be 7-4 like you're saying, Rick, but they should be better than 2-9. I think we all can agree on that. This is not a 2-9 roster. All right. Some last second super chats here. Hollywood Rio in the raffle for 2. Big Cho for Prez. I'm crying over here. Put me in for 2, Jake. Hey, I figured we all could use a little Cho in the morning, right? Big Cho, you brought some smiles to the people.
Oh, yeah. Big Cho for Prez.
You running for office, Big Cho, now that your back pain is going to be all gone soon?
If my public needs me, I will be there for them.
If the public needs you, you will be there for them. Big Cho, that's why you're one of one.
Appreciate that, Jake.
What's on the agenda for the rest of the day?
Gonna spend some time with my daughter. She just got back from getting her car fixed and going to the gym, so we're gonna hang out for a little bit. Just resting my back, trying not to do too much.
Love that. Big Cho, you're the man.
Appreciate that. Jets, Jets.
All right, who's ready for the raffle? We're almost there. A couple last second entries here. Uno Jet says, put me in, LGJ. Uno Jets, hit the Big Cho.
Big Cho.
You're in for 2, Uno. Thank you. Frank says, Jake, put these in for RBW F Spencer. Spencer Green, man, where's my money? He owes me $100. And you know, it's funny. I did send him an email yesterday morning. I go, hey, confirming our bet, is it 700 or 750? And he never got back to me. So I'm watching this game yesterday being like, I hope it's 700 if the Jets win. But honestly, I never thought the Jets were actually going to win. Even when they were up 7-3 at halftime, I just didn't see it. So in the past 2 games, I have profited $200 because Spencer Green might have a gambling problem. But he did pay me the first time, and I believe Spencer's a man of his word. So I think he will pay me. Put these in for RBW. I just want to confirm, Frank, RBW, is that Robin Boy Wonders? I'm assuming that's who that is. Robin Boy Wonders. All right. We're just about set for the Asmaniac raffle. So I'm going to get the names together. Before I do that, though, let me bring on my raffle band. Beast, we're almost ready for you to send us to the Wheel of Champions. How we feeling?
Not too bad, but I think next year we're going to see a big surprise in the atmosphere. Wilkes' history, we're going to see some new guys come up. And are you tallied up for all those names? Are they tallied?
Oh, the names are being tallied, Beast. The names are being tallied. I'll tell you what, whenever you're ready, you could throw us to the Wheel of Champions.
Well, time for me to get into my Michael Buffer mode, which is the ladies and gentlemen of the Jake Asman Show. Are you ready? Jake Asman fans, are you ready? Well then, there is only one thing left to say, and we know what time it is. Come with me, folks. The time has come. It's time to spin the wheel of champions.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Oh, baby. Well done, Beast. Well done. It's that time. It wouldn't be an Asmaniac raffle if Black Gypsy didn't wait till the absolute last second to get one last entry in. He just gifted another membership here, and we got him in for another one at the buzzer. All right, that's the cutoff. Black Gypsy, I see you. You're in. Your membership went to at Ed's Daily 2173. All right, folks. Good luck. If you win, please email me your name, your address, the player you want the jersey in, and the size you want it in, and I'll order it for you this week. Again, it's a Jets Legends jersey, so you pick the legend of the Jet player that you want the jersey in. Good luck, but your winner is... The wheel is spinning and shall determine. The winner is of Abra Mo Byron. This was a super chat earlier in the show. Right here. Talking about Brees being off the field on third down. Ridiculous. And it was a great take. A take worthy of the wheel. Congrats to Abram O'Brien. I'm not familiar with you, so please email me and we will get you your prize, your jersey of choice. Hit the Jet Champ for him. Love it. Appreciate your support. Thanks to everyone who supports these raffles. Next week is the 1-year anniversary of the Asmaniac raffle. We started it first week of December, and we've been doing it for a full year. So you guys are the best for that. We'll announce the winners of raffle 50 tomorrow. We've been doing daily prizes on basically every show since July. So again, you guys make it all possible with your support. We'll keep it rolling into 2026. I'm back this afternoon. It should be Beningo around 4:30. He's going to confirm with me. If not, Joe will be on tomorrow, and we'll get someone else on this afternoon. But I'm hoping it's Joe B. I know he's normally a Monday staple, but he had something come up with his furnace was being reinstalled in his house, so he didn't have heat. And he was flipping out to me on the phone about that, which was highly entertaining, and I wish I recorded some of it. But Joe should be with us this afternoon, and we'll get his thoughts on the Jets' loss yesterday to the Ravens and look ahead to Jets Falcons and all that. All right, go Jets. Happy Thanksgiving week, everyone. We are back with more content this afternoon. I will play you out with a clip that I think everyone will enjoy. Jets, 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 Jets. God bless America.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defender still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
I finger myself.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.